check.
A very good morning to all. This is Gisha Sridhar.
And this is Harish Kant.
We welcome you to the Sensitization program on why core engineering skills still matter.
யாமறிந்த மொழிகளிலே தமிழ் மொழி போல் இனிதாவது எங்கும் காணோம் என்ற பாரதியின் வரிகளுக்கு இணங்க தமிழ் அன்னையை வணங்கி இந்நிகழ்வை தொடங்குவோம்.
I request you all to rise for the Tamil Thai Varthu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் பதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கனமும் அதிர் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிரமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே
நன்றிகள்.
Now we would like to invite all our dignitaries for joining us on stage. First, we welcome our Registrar of Anna University, Chennai, Dr. J. Prakash sir. Please give him a big round of applause. Next, we welcome Thiru T. Abraham, IAS, the Commissioner, Directorate of Technical Education, Gindi. Next, we invite Tirumati J. Innocent Divya ma'am, IAS, Managing Director, TNSDC. Next up, Professor Usha ma'am, Chairman, Faculty of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Member Convener Committee. This program is being live streamed at 16 constituent colleges under Anna University and is also live streamed on YouTube for the public to view. We are honored to commence today's event with a warm welcome from a dignitary who is a pillar of guidance and leadership, and we are excited to have him with us today. Without further ado, we invite the Registrar of Anna University, Chennai, Dr. J. Prakash sir, for the welcome address.
இந்நிகழ்வினை துவக்கி வைப்பதற்காக அண்ணா பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் பதிவாளர் டாக்டர் ஜே பிரகாஷ் அவர்களை வரவேற்புரையாற்ற பணிவன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Good morning to all of you. It's my great pleasure to extend a warm welcome to this important event, Why Core Engineering Skill Matters, the need to continue core program despite the artificial intelligence and machine learning boom, organized jointly by the Higher Education Department, Government of Tamil Nadu and Anna University, Chennai. At a time when programs in artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer science engineering and information technology are witnessing tremendous demand, it is crucial that we do not overlook the core engineering disciplines such as civil, mechanical, chemical and electrical engineering, which have been the foundation of technological progress and innovation. These disciplines continue to be indispensable, providing the infrastructure upon which the modern advancements are built. I would like to first express my heartfelt gratitude to the Higher Education Department, Government of Tamil Nadu, for their vision in organizing this event and for their continuous support and guidance. I'm honored to welcome Dr. K. Gopal, Additional Chief Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of Tamil Nadu, and Chairman of the Convener Committee. Sir will join shortly. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us today despite your demanding schedule. Your presence underscores the significance of this event. I would like to extend a warm welcome To the Commissioner of Technical Education, Thiru Abraham IAS, member of the convener committee, thank you, sir, for gracing today's function in spite of your busy schedule. I would like to warmly welcome Mrs. Innocent Divya IAS, Chairman of the Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation, who has been spearheading the flagship Naan Mudhalvan scheme. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and gracing today's function, and also accepting to serve as the moderator for today's panel discussion. We are privileged to have an esteemed panel of experts from academia, R&D establishment, industry, education and government, who will share their invaluable insights on the importance of sustaining core engineering disciplines in the face of growing interest in your fields. I warmly welcome Thiru Kanniyappan, Managing Director, Head of Commercial Vehicle Control System India Limited, Dr. Susindran, Techno HR Leader and Head of Academic Alliance at TCS, Dr. P. Shivakumar, Distinguished Scientist and former Director of CVRDE, Thiru R.M. Kishore, Vice Chairman of RMK Group of Institutions, Dr. K. Subramanian, Senior Vice President at Ashok Leyland, Thiru Ramesh Prabha, Educationist and Career Guidance Specialist. I am confident that their contribution will enrich our understanding of the challenges and opportunities in core engineering education. I am pleased to welcome the keynote speakers who will deliver thought-provoking lectures. Dr. Shankar Venugopal, Vice President at Mahindra & Mahindra, on the topic Transforming Engineering Education Core Shell Model. Thiru Srivats Ram, Chairman of CIIT and State Council and Managing Director of Wheels India Limited, on the topic Why Core Engineering Skill Matters. I extend my heartfelt welcome to all the chairpersons and principals of leading engineering institutions who have honored us with their presence today, as well as to all our distinguished guests, member of the media, and all ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Tamil Nadu has introduced several impactful schemes to support aspiring students pursuing higher education. These schemes include First Graduate Scheme, the 7.5% government quota for students from government school students, the Pudumai Pen Scheme, and the latest one is the Tamil Pudhalvan Scheme. Postgraduate assistantship for students pursuing master's degree in engineering is also provided by government of Tamil Nadu. Additionally, to enhance the core competency skills of the students, the Naan Mudhalvan scheme has been launched along with the innovative Niral Tiruvizha hackathon initiative, which supports 50 top ideas with a grant of rupees 10 lakh each. With a high demand for emerging fields, many bright students choose to pursue their engineering in the field of computer science and IT. At this juncture, I earnestly request the Higher Education Department, Government of Tamil Nadu, to consider offering financial assistance or scholarship to attract talented students to core engineering. Similarly, I urge all the chairpersons to support deserving students who wish to pursue core engineering. Together, we can ensure the core engineering remains strong and continues to produce the talented engineers our nation needs. Thank you once again for being part of this significant event, and I look forward to this enriching discussion ahead. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. We are now honored to welcome a key figure in steering the technical education towards new frontiers in Tamil Nadu. An IAS officer, he had served as the collector for the Ariyallur district, special secretary to the government in Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Department, and then as the secretary for the Social Reforms Department. We cordially invite the Commissioner of Directorate of Technical Education, Gindi, Thiru T. Abraham, to deliver a special address.
தொழில்நுட்ப கல்வி இயக்குநரகத்தின் ஆணையர் திரு டி ஆப்ரஹாம் ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்களை சிறப்புரையாற்ற பணிவுடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Good morning, respected Additional Chief Secretary Higher Education, Managing Director Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation, Registrar Anna University, esteemed chairpersons of engineering institutions, distinguished guests, faculty members, and industry representatives. It is my privilege to speak to you today on behalf of the Director of Technical Education, an advisory body of Tamil Nadu, responsible for guiding and regulating the technical education landscape in our state. Our mandate is to ensure that the technical institutes of Tamil Nadu not only meet the highest standards of education, but also align with the evolving needs of industry and society. Today's program, Why Core Engineering Still Matters, is an essential discussion, especially in the era where artificial intelligence and information technology dominate conversations around the technology, around education and employment. This gathering aims to emphasize the continuing relevance and the necessity of core engineering disciplines, particularly those under the faculties of mechanical, electrical, and civil engineering, which are foundational to the growth and development of our nation. We are witnessing a perceptible shift in student and parental preferences. Many are gravitating towards branches such as computer science and information technology. The reasons are clear. Number one, the appeal of white-collar jobs. Number two, higher entry-level salaries. Number three, a vast number of job opportunities. Number four, modern work cultures that resonate with the young generation. Number five, opportunities for foreign travel. And number six, the absence of physically demanded work. However, we must not overlook the challenges these fields also bring, including number one, the potential instability due to the hire and fire culture. Number two, the constant need for upskilling and reskilling to stay competitive. Number three, compromised work-life balance and mental stress caused by project deadlines. Career growth, number four, career growth that may not always correlate with the income progression. Number five, health concerns linked to sedentary lifestyle. In contrast, core engineering disciplines like mechanical, civil, and electrical engineering are often perceived as offering blue-collar jobs involving physical labor with fewer opportunities for foreign travel and relatively lower starting salaries. However, this perception does not fully reflect the potential and the importance of these fields. Core engineering disciplines are vital to the nation's industrial and infrastructural growth. Our country is on the cusp of major advancements in the manufacturing, infrastructure development, aerospace, and more. Global businesses are looking into India as a key player, especially with the China Plus One policy. And core engineers will be at the forefront of this transformation. In these fields, experience leads to sustainable growth, and the opportunity to combine engineering knowledge with IT skills open new pathways for innovation and leadership. The statistics are clear. There has been a year-on-year decline in the intake of core engineering students, while computer science and IT branches continue to see increasing enrollments. However, core industries are growing, and the demand for skilled engineers is rising. It is imperative that we correct the imbalance by highlighting the value of core engineering disciplines. What then should be our path forward? First, it is crucial that we engage with the students and parents early in schools to make them aware of the growing opportunities in the core engineering fields. They need to see that these disciplines are stable, rewarding careers with a significant potential for growth and leadership. Second, media and industry clusters must actively promote core engineering fields to correct the misconceptions that have taken root. With the right awareness, we can restore confidence in these critical sectors. Third, Institutions like Anna University should look into adding additional minor degrees that allow core engineering students to acquire complementary IT-related skills. This interdisciplinary approach will better equip our graduates for the demands of the modern integrated workforce. Fourth, IT companies must also be sensitized to the evolving curriculum and the broad skill sets that core engineering graduates bring to the table. Many industries today require professionals with a blend of core engineering and IT knowledge, a fusion that we must encourage. Lastly, we must consider implementing one exit policy across Tamil Nadu to give all students the flexibility to explore different disciplines and make informed decisions about their future careers. The goal of Directorate of Technical Education is to ensure that the supply and demand for the core engineering graduates are balanced and that we cultivate a workforce that meets the growing needs of the country. In conclusion, the relevance of core engineering disciplines has never been greater. They are essential to the nation's development, to our infrastructure, and to our ability to compete on the global stage. As leaders of technical education, it is our responsibility to promote these disciplines and ensure that they continue to thrive. Let us work together to create a future where core engineering, in harmony with technological advancement, drives India's progress. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the address. Your extensive experience and commitment to advancing educational initiatives are truly inspiring, and we are grateful for your valuable perspectives you've provided today. Now, it's our honor to invite a remarkable leader who has been instrumental in transforming the skill development landscape in Tamil Nadu. She has been at the forefront of empowering young minds through the visionary Naan Mudhalvan initiative. For a short talk on Naan Mudhalvan initiatives on core engineering skills, we welcome the Managing Director of TNSDC, Tirumati J. Innocent Divya IAS, to the stage.
தமிழ்நாடு திறன் மேம்பாட்டுக் கழகத்தின் நிர்வாக இயக்குனர் திருமதி ஜே இன்னசென்ட் திவ்யா ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்களை சிற்றுரையாற்ற அன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Respected Commissioner of Technical Education, Registrar Dr. Prakash, Member Convener Committee Professor Usha, dear captains of industry, principals and chairmen of engineering institutions, warm greetings to all of you. அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். In the event why core engineering matters, it can't be more perfectly timed, because we are at the cusp of something big. The way AI and ML is transforming technology today is way unprecedented, something that we never expected could transform technology space. But இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கூடி இருக்கிற இந்த மாதிரியான ஸ்டேக்ஹோல்டர்ஸ் மீட்டிங்கில் சில முக்கியமான key takeaways that we need to take from here. I think by the end of the day, we will have some learnings to take from here, some deep insights, both from academia and from the technology and the industry side. Okay. So I guess in the madriyana stakeholders meeting and at this point of time when the entire industry is undergoing a tectonic shift and academia grappling with these changes, with the changes in technology that is occurring every moment. அது வந்து ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஸோ த வே த பேஸ் அட் விச் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஆஃப் டெக்னாலஜி இஸ் டேக்கிங் பிளேஸ், அதுக்கு வந்து அகடமியா ஹவு டு கிராப்பிள் வித் தட் சேஞ்ச் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் வந்து மிகப்பெரிய இஷ்யூஸ் தட் நீட் டு பி டிஸ்கஸ்ட் ஓவர் அண்ட் ஓவர் அகேன். பாலிசி சேஞ்சஸ் எப்படி கொண்டு வர்றது, எதை வந்து அடிப்படையாக வைத்து பாலிசியை வந்து நம்ம கொண்டு வரணும், இந்த மாதிரியான ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ் மீட்டிங்கில் ஐ திங்க் தேர் ஆர் லாட் ஆஃப் டேக்அவேஸ் போத் ஃபார் த கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஸ் வெல் அஸ் ஃபார் த அகடமியா அண்ட் த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி. So நான் இங்கே இருக்கிறது, I think we will, in the panel discussion, we will deeply delve into such issues in detail. But இப்போ வந்து நான் இங்கே உங்கள் முன்னாடி இருக்கிறது வந்து நான் முதல்வன் என்ற ஃப்ளாக்ஷிப் ப்ரோக்ராம் பற்றி பேசுகிறதுக்கு I guess many of you are aware, நிறைய இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸில் அதை செயல்பட்டுருக்கு. பட் இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமினுடைய முக்கிய நோக்கம், the objective of the program itself is to ensure employability among engineering graduates. 90s நடந்த ஒரு massive increase in the number of colleges, engineering colleges. We increased the number of engineering graduates from Tamil Nadu. Largest network of engineering colleges வந்து நம்மளுக்கு அந்த 90s ஒரு பெரிய boom இருந்தது. And then it continued. And now it's on the declining phase for whatever reason. இப்போ இந்த டிக்ளைனிங் ஃபேஸ் இருக்கும்போது நிறைய காலேஜஸ் ஆர் either closing down, reducing the number of seats. இதில் முக்கியமான ஒன்று பார்க்கணும், reducing the number of seats where அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் தான். ஆனால் தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நம்மளுடைய ஸ்ட்ராங் பேஸே மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் எக்கானமி. நம்மளுடைய தமிழ்நாடு எக்கானமியே இஸ் டிபெண்ட் ஆன் நம்ம பேக் போனே அதுதான் MSMEs. We have the largest network of MSMEs. So அது மறந்துடக்கூடாது on one hand. ஸோ இப்போ எம்ப்ளாயபிலிட்டி வந்து abysmally லோவாக இருக்குது அப்படின்ற ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் எல்லாம் நீங்கள் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. நாட் ஓன்லி இன் தமிழ்நாடு, என்டையர் கண்ட்ரிலேயே வந்து என்ஜினியரிங் எஜுகேஷன் வந்து எப்படி ரீவேம் பண்ணணும், இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ் வந்து அதில் கருத்து சொன்னாங்க. நிறைய வந்து இதில் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த சர்வே அடிப்படையில் we had to intervene, the government had to intervene. ஸோ இதில் எம்ப்ளாயபிலிட்டியில் எப்படியெல்லாம் என்னெல்லாம் வந்து இண்டஸ்ட்ரி கேட்குறாங்க, வாட் டஸ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி நீட் அண்ட் வாட் இஸ் மிஸ்ஸிங் இன் தி அகடமியா. ஸோ ஹவு டு வி பிரிட்ஜ் த கேப். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வாட் நான் முதல்வன் இஸ் அபவுட். இதில் வந்து நம்ம ஒரு கிரெடிட் ப்ரோக்ராம் கொடுக்குறோம் எவ்ரி செமிஸ்டர்ஸ். ஹியர் வி ஆர் கம்பைனிங் கம்யூனிகேஷன் ஸ்கில்ஸ், டிஜிட்டல் ஸ்கில்ஸ் அண்ட் டொமைன் ரிலேட்டட் எமர்ஜிங் டெக்னாலஜி ஸ்கில்ஸ் packaged into a 2 credit program and integrated into the curriculum. Along with the timetable, integrated into the curriculum, but dealt by industry experts. And then we are also offering placement services for host institutions which are ready to partner with us, and also for government colleges as a service. The entire thing is as a service. And here, since it is a mandated program, the government pays for every student. So அதுதான் இதில் பெரிய அட்வான்டேஜ். வேல்யூ ஆடட் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் ஐ கெஸ் ஆல் ஆஃப் யூ வில் பி கிவிங். ஆட்டோனாமஸ் காலேஜஸில் எல்லாம் நிறைய வேல்யூ ஆடட் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் கொடுத்துட்ருக்கீங்க இன் அடிஷன் டு த கரிக்குலம். பட் ஹியர் வி ஆர் இன்டகிரேட்டிங் இட் அஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த கரிக்குலம். ஏன்னா மேண்டேட் பண்ணலை அப்படின்னா ஒரு வீக் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் படிக்க முடியாது. only the cream will benefit. We want to ensure that every student in the state gets benefited from the program. Therefore, the government is paying on behalf of every student. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான பல்வேறு, இப்போது இன்ஜினியரிங் மட்டும் இல்லாமல் ஆர்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் சயின்ஸ், பாலிடெக்னிக், ஐடிஐ எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் கொடுக்குறப்போ 6 மாதத்திற்கு முன்னாடியே வந்து எவ்ரி 6 months இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம் வந்து ஒரு டைனமிக்காக மாறிக்கிட்டே இருக்குது. இட்ஸ் வெரி ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் இன் இட்ஸ் கண்டென்ட் அண்ட் இந்த கோர்சஸ் தட் வி ஆஃபர். ஸோ எவ்ரி 6 months we talk to industry. செக்டர் வைஸ் நம்ம தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்கிற இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் மட்டும் இல்லாமல் கண்ட்ரி வைடு இருக்கக்கூடிய செக்டர்ஸில் பேசி என்ன டிமாண்ட், இப்போ இதுக்கு நம்மக்கிட்ட என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் அப்படின்னா டிமாண்ட் அனலைஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு we don't have a mechanism. We don't have a labor management information system where industries can say, look, this is my hiring pattern, this is how I will hire. So in the absence of that kind of an intelligence from the industry, we need to talk to them. So அந்த மாதிரி representatives கூப்பிட்டு what do you foresee? They may not be able to tell you the exact numbers, but they will tell you the trend. என்ன மாதிரியான hiring இருக்க போகுது, என்ன மாதிரியான technologies are in demand, what is missing from the curriculum. So then we collect that information. This is done every 6 months. அந்த information collect பண்ணிட்டு then we curate the program with industry and academicians. Anna University has been the forerunner இந்த நான் முதல்வன் ப்ரோக்ராம். ஃபஸ்ட்டு இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்ட்ரீமுக்கு தான் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணோம் இன் 2022 வித் நாளையத்திறன் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம். ஆட்டோனாமஸ் காலேஜஸ் வேர் ஆல்சோ பார்ட் ஆஃப் இட். அது வந்து ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் பேஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஷியல் லேர்னிங் ப்ரோக்ராமாக கொண்டு வந்தோம். ஸோ அந்த ப்ரோக்ராமோடைய இம்பேக்ட் அண்ட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் அதெல்லாம் வச்சு தான் அடுத்த லெவலில் ஆர்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் சயின்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரீம் கொண்டு வந்தோம். அப்புறம் ஐடிஐ அண்ட் பாலிடெக்னிக். ஸோ இதில் எல்லாம் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட்டோடைய இன்டென்ட் என்ன அப்படின்னா, we want to ensure that every student, regardless of wherever he is studying, அது ப்ரைவேட் காலேஜாக இருக்கலாம், கவர்மெண்ட் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன், கவர்மெண்ட் எய்டட், எந்த காலேஜில் இருந்தாலும் he has to have access to these emerging tech skills. So wherever the college is able to provide, fine, we don't want to intervene. ஆனால் எங்கே முடியலையோ அங்கே we are there to help அப்படின்ற அடிப்படையில் தான் எல்லா colleges except for autonomous colleges, because they run on a different, very different timetable where we are not able to match with sometimes. It happens, and it's out of choice also. They want to be, don't want to be part of it. ஆனால் இப்போ வந்து ஆர்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் சயின்ஸ் காலேஜஸ்லாம் எங்ககிட்ட கேட்டுட்டு இருக்காங்க, ஆட்டோனாமஸும் எங்களுக்கு வேணும் அப்படின்னு. ஸோ we will take a call after having a discussion with the senior officials. பட் இப்போ இன்ஜினியரிங் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் இன் கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ஸ் வி ஆர் ப்ரொவைடிங் எமர்ஜிங் டெக் ஸ்கில்ஸ். இப்போ சிவில் எடுத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா பில்டிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் மாடலிங், டிசைன் ஆஃப் ஸ்டீல் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ், design of transportation infrastructure like airports, ports, seaports இதெல்லாம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரியான முக்கியமான இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் எப்படி பண்ணுறாங்க த்ரூ ஜாயன்ட்ஸ் லைக் L&T. இவங்களை வச்சே கோர்ஸ் எடுக்க வச்சு, அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி எக்ஸ்பர்ட்ஸ் வச்சு கோர்ஸை டிசைன் பண்ணி கோர்ஸ் அவங்களே எடுக்க வச்சு. ஸோ வி என்ஷூர் தட் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வென் ஹி crosses the thresholds of any institution is employable on day one and is also adapt to the technology that is there in the field he has to work in. ஏன்னா இப்போ though there are programs which sort of bridge like internships எல்லாம் நிறையா இருக்குது, but how many students are able to get access to these internships? எங்கே இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இருக்குதோ அங்கே ஈஸியாக பண்ணிடுறாங்க, எங்கே இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷனுக்கு வந்து அந்த இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்குதோ அங்கெல்லாம் வந்து நிறைய கொலாபரேஷன் நடக்குது. பட் வாட் அபவுட் அதர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் தட் ஆர் ஸ்டடிங் இன் அதர் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸ் ஆர் இன் ரூரல் ஏரியாஸ்? இதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் தேவைப்படுது, அண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் வேர் நான் முதல்வன் இஸ். ஸோ இங்கே எல்லாமே அந்த ப்ராசஸ் ஆஃப் பிரிங்கிங் அகடமியா இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இன்டு த காலேஜஸ், இந்த ப்ராசஸ் தான் நம்ம பண்ணுறோம் த்ரூ இன்டர்ன்ஷிப்ஸ், த்ரூ பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் சர்வீசஸ், த்ரூ மென்டர்ஷிப். இப்போ தமிழ் டயஸ்போராவில் இருக்கக்கூடிய இப்போ யூஎஸ்லேயோ இல்லை யூரோப்பியன் கண்ட்ரீஸ்லேயோ இருக்கக்கூடிய தமிழ் ப்ரொஃபஷ்னல்ஸ் அவங்கள வச்சு நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸை மென்டோர் பண்ண வைக்கிறோம். ஸோ இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு மோர் தென் 215 மென்டோர்ஸ் ஆர் தேர். இவங்க எல்லாம் வந்து குரூப்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸை மென்டோர் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்காங்க, மேபி ஆன் லைவ் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ், மேபி ஆன் ஜஸ்ட் கெரியர் கைடன்ஸ். ஏன்னா ஆல் தட் இஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட் ஃபார் அ ஸ்டூடெண்ட் டு நோ வென் ஹீ இஸ் காலேஜ் இன் இஸ் whatever he is studying in, he will get a job. Or if he is interested in research, how to go about that? என்ன படிக்கணும், அது முடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் படிக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டீங்கன்னா என்ன படிக்கணும், இல்லை வேலைக்கு போகணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டீங்கன்னா எந்த செக்டரை டார்கெட் பண்ணணும். இப்போ எல்லாமே சப்ஜெக்ட் ஓரியன்டாக படிச்சுட்டு இருக்காங்க, பட் செக்டர் ஓரியன்டாக there is no orientation when they are in college. So அந்த மாதிரி mentorship programs we are offering. அது போக காம்படிட்டிவ் எக்ஸாம்ஸ் செப்பரேட் விங் இருக்குது. ஸோ whoever wants to get trained or who wants to attempt competitive examinations, then we train them. அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு செப்பரேட் வெர்டிக்கல் இருக்குது, particularly for UPSC, RRB and SSC. டிஎன்பிஎஸ்சிலாம் தனியாக வேறு டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் அண்ட் ட்ரைனிங் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ நாங்கள் இந்த 3 செக்டர் எடுத்து ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக இந்த மாதிரி சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட்டில் நிறைய ஜாப்ஸுக்கு வந்து இங்கே தமிழ்நாட்டை சேர்ந்த இளைஞர்கள் அப்ளிகேஷன் கூட போடுறதில்ல. ஸோ அதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து அவேர்னஸ் உண்டு பண்ணணும், காலேஜில் இருக்கும் போதே இந்த அவேர்னஸ் கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு. ஹையர் எஜுகேஷன் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் கேட், ஜாம் கோச்சிங் எங்கெல்லாம் வந்து ஃப்ரீ ரிசோர்ஸஸ் இருக்குதோ அந்த மாதிரி வந்து அப்ராட் படிக்கக்கூடிய ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் எங்கெல்லாம் இருக்குது, ஃபுல் ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்போடு எங்கெல்லாம் இருக்குது, பார்ட் ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்போட எங்கெல்லாம் ஆஃபர் பண்ணுறாங்க, இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு வைட் வெரைட்டி ஆஃப் கெரியர் ட்ராக்கிங். ஈவன் வைல் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட் இஸ் இன் காலேஜ் அவரை கெரியரில் வந்து அவரை ட்ராக் பண்ணி அவரை கொண்டு வந்து அதை ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் ஜாக்கெட் பண்ணி ஜஸ்ட் ஃபோக்கஸ்ட் ஆன் வாட் ஹீ வாண்ட்ஸ் டு டூ. ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் காலேஜ் முடித்ததுக்கப்புறம் தான் என்ன பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. அண்ட் இந்த காலேஜ் எந்த டிசிப்ளின் சூஸ் பண்ணுறதுன்ற அந்த முக்கியமான ஒரு டிசிஷனை வந்து எப்படி எடுக்கிறாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டோ பேரண்ட்ஸோ அப்படின்னா பியர் குரூப். இதை படித்த பையனுக்கு வேலை கிடச்சிருக்குதா, ஏற்கனவே படித்த பையனுக்கு வேலை கிடச்சிருக்குதான்னு பார்க்குறாங்க. ஸோ இது எல்லாமே டெஸ்டிங், மார்க்கெட் டெஸ்டிங் பண்ணுறாங்க, நிறைய பேர்கிட்ட கேட்குறாங்க. இது ஏன்னா பெருசாக வந்து வேறு எதுவும் பார்க்கல, அந்த ஊரில் இந்த பிஇ மெக்கானிக்கல் படித்த பையனுக்கு எங்கே வேலை கிடச்சிருக்கு, இதை வச்சு தான் அவங்க பையனோட சாய்ஸை வந்து அவங்க டிசைட் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ இது எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து நம்ம அந்த நாட் ஒன்லி ஃபார் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஸ்கூலில் இருக்கும் போது பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கும் சேர்த்து கெரியர் கைடன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ பார்ட் ஆஃப் நான் முதல்வன். கல்லூரி கனவுன்னு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் நடத்துகிறோம். அதில் பேரண்ட்ஸையும் கூட்டிகிட்டு வர சொல்கிறோம். பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கும் இந்த கெரியர் கைடன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். ஸோ என்ன மாதிரியான ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்குது, இன்ஜினியரிங் மெடிசன் தவிர வேறு என்னெல்லாம் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்குது அப்படின்றத வந்து நம்ம அவங்களுக்கு கைட் பண்ணுறோம். அண்ட் வி ஆல்சோ ஹெல்ப் தெம் டு அப்ளை டு காலேஜஸ். நிறைய பேருக்கு இந்த காலேஜ் அப்ளிகேஷன்லையோ சாய்ஸ்லையோ கவுன்சிலிங்லேயோ நிறைய மிஸ்டேக்ஸ் பண்ணுறதுனால they end up in some places where they don't want to be. அதனால் அதுலேயும் கைட் பண்ணுறோம் through career guidance cells that are there in schools. அது போக உயர்வுக்கு படின்னு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம். அதில் வந்து அவுட் ஆஃப் ஸ்கூல் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸை how we bring them back into either higher education or skilling programs. ஏன்னா நாங்கள் ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட் கார்பரேஷனில் நிறைய ஷார்ட் டேர்ம் ட்ரைனிங் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கோம் which are all placement linked. அதில் வந்து நம்ம இணைச்சி அவங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு ஸோ வி வாண்ட் எவ்ரி யூத் இன் தமிழ்நாடு டு பி ப்ரொடக்டிவ்லி எம்ப்ளாய்டு. அவர் ஒரு பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணணும், அதற்குண்டான ஸ்கில் செட் வளர்த்துக்கிட்டாலோ இல்லை ஒரு இடத்துல வந்து வேலை பார்க்கணுன்னு அதுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்கில் செட் தேவைப்பட்டாலோ எல்லாமே நம்ம கொடுக்கறதுக்கு அரசாங்கம் ரெடியாக இருக்குன்ற அந்த ஒரு செக்யூரிட்டி நெட் அரவுண்ட் எவ்ரி யூத் இன் தமிழ்நாடு கிரியேட் பண்ணுறது தான் இந்த நான் முதல்வன் ப்ரோக்ராம். ஸோ ஐ கெஸ் இங்கே இருக்கக்கூடிய சேர்மன்லாம் இஃப் யூஆர் பார்ட் ஆஃப் நான் முதல்வன் ஒரு வீக்லி ஒன்ஸ் நீங்கள் ஒரு ரெவ்யூ எடுக்கணும் எப்படி பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. ஏன்னா இதில் வந்து ஸ்பார்க்ஸ் இருக்காங்க, ஒவ்வொரு காலேஜ்லேயும் ஸ்பார்க்ஸோட கண்டினியூஸாக இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம். என்னென்ன ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் வருது, நேற்று கூட துபாயில் வந்து ஒரு 65 இன்டர்ன்ஷிப்ஸ் இருக்குன்னாங்க. ஸோ இது எல்லாமே நாங்கள் அப்பப்போ உங்களுடைய டேஷ்போர்டில் அதை ப்ரொஜெக்ட் பண்ணிகிட்டே இருக்கிறோம். யார் யார் பார்க்குறாங்களோ அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் பெனிஃபிட் ஆகிறாங்க. ஸோ அது எல்லாமே வந்து ரெகுலராக அப்டேட்ஸை ஃபாலோ பண்ண சொல்லுங்கள், ஸ்பார்க்ஸை மீட்டிங் அட்டென்ட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்கள், வீக்லி ஒன்ஸ் ஒரு ரெவ்யூ எடுங்க, என்னென்ன ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க, ட்ரெயினர்ஸ் ஒழுங்காக வர்றாங்களா, கோர்ஸ் நல்ல குவாலிட்டியாக இருக்கா, ரெலவெண்ட்டாக இருக்குதா, அப்படி இல்லைன்னா எங்களுக்கு சொல்லுங்கள். ஏன்னா எவ்ரி இதுதான் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் கிடையாது, இவங்க தான் இந்த பார்ட்னர்ஸ் அப்படின்லாம் கிடையாது. இட்ஸ் வெரி ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் அண்ட் டைனமிக் ப்ரோக்ராம். எவ்ரி 6 months எவ்ரி செமஸ்டர் நாங்கள் மாற்றிட்டே இருக்கோம் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸை. அதுக்கு வந்து ரெலவெண்ட்டாக இல்லை பார்ட்னர் சரி இல்லை அப்படின்னா இம்மீடியட்லி வி கெட் ரிட் ஆஃப் தெம். ஆனால் எங்களுக்கு ஃபீட்பேக் வேணும். ஸோ நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் நீங்கள் அதில் காமிக்கிறப்போ டெஃபினெட்லி உங்களுடைய என்டையர் காலேஜோடைய என்டையர் மெக்கானிசம் வில் spring into action and they will be enthused by your enthusiasm. இது வந்து entirely வந்து okay. So entirely it is a employability program focused for the students' welfare. So I urge all of you to take special interest in this Naan Mudhalvan program. Those who are part of the Naan Mudhalvan program, கொஞ்சம் ஸ்பெஷல் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்து கவனம் செலுத்தி கொஞ்சம் கேட்டு தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு. ஏதாவதுன்னா எங்களுக்கு ஃபீட்பேக்கும் கொடுங்க. எங்களுடைய ப்ரோக்ராம் மேனேஜர்ஸ் ஆர் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்லி இன் டச் வித் யுவர் ஸ்பார்க்ஸ். ரெகுலராக அவங்களோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, ரெகுலராக அவங்களோட வர்ச்சுவல் மீட் பண்ணுறோம். இப்போ கூட நாங்கள் ரீஜனல் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்தோம். வி மெட் வித் ஆல் த சேர்மென். சம் ஆஃப் யூ வுட் ஹவ் கம் டு த ரீஜனல் கான்ஃபரன்சஸ் ஆல்சோ. ஸோ அங்கேயும் வந்து ரெகுலராக நாங்கள் உங்களோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணி உங்ககிட்ட இருந்து நாங்கள் ஃபீட்பேக் வாங்குகிறோம், எந்த மாதிரியான கோர்சஸ் வேணும் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம். ஸோ பி அப்டேட்டட் அபவுட் த ப்ரோக்ராம். And thank you so much for your patient hearing. I guess additional Chief Secretary has already arrived. So he will be joining us in a few minutes now. Thank you very much. I will meet you during the panel discussion. Thank you.
உங்கள் அறிவார்ந்த சிறப்புரைக்கு எங்கள் மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள் திருமதி இன்னசென்ட் திவ்யா மேடம்.
Now we will watch a short AV on the upcoming session of our programs. We have now come to a special moment in today's event. We would like to honor our dignitaries with a memento for sharing great knowledge and experience with us. We request our esteemed professor, Professor Usha Ma'am, Chairman, Faculty of Tripoli, Member, Convener Committee, to present a memento to Thiruti Abraham IAS, sir.
Welcome.
We welcome Dr. K. Gopal IAS, sir, Additional Chief Secretary to the Government Higher Education Department, to the stage. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Next, we have the privilege of hearing from a dignitary who has been instrumental in shaping policies that elevate standards of higher education in our state. We welcome the IAS officer, who is also the Additional Chief Secretary to the Government Higher Education Department, Dr. K. Gopal sir, to set the context for today's discussions.
தமிழ்நாடு உயர்கல்வித்துறையின் கூடுதல் தலைமை செயலாளர் டாக்டர் கே கோபால் ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்களை கருத்துரையாற்ற அன்புடன் அழைக்கிறேன்.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, industry leaders, members of academia, media, and friends. Good morning to all of you. It's both an honor and a privilege to be a part of this significant sensitization program on the theme, why core engineering still matters. The need to continue core programs despite the AI and ML boom is the theme, organized by Anna University in collaboration with the Department of Higher Education. Today's event aims to address an issue that lies at the heart of engineering education and the future of our nation's technological landscape. In recent years, we have witnessed an undeniable surge in the popularity of fields like artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer science engineering, information technology. These disciplines are revolutionizing the way we live, work, and interact with the technology. The demand for professionals skilled in these areas have really skyrocketed, leading to an influx of students eager to secure their place in the industries of tomorrow, or the futuristic industries. While the rise of these fields is exciting and necessary for the development of cutting-edge technologies, unfortunately, it has accidentally cast a shadow on the existence of traditional core engineering disciplines, namely civil, mechanical, electrical, chemical engineering, to name a few. These fields have long been the backbone of our nation's infrastructure, industrial growth, and technological achievements. From the bridges that span over rivers to the power plants that light up these cities, core engineering has been fundamental in shaping the physical and technological landscape of India. However, in many educational institutions, we are seeing a worrying trend. The growing focus on artificial intelligence and machine learning has led to a decline in enrollment in core engineering programs. Colleges and universities are increasingly shifting their priorities, with some even surrendering the core engineering seats in favor of newer and more, I would say, trendy disciplines. And this has raised a very crucial question. Are we at risk of undermining the very foundation of our engineering education system in our pursuit of the future? Today's program seeks to explore the critical question and find solutions. We are here to discuss why core engineering disciplines are not only relevant but essential to the sustained development of our country. The engineers trained in these fields are the ones who build and maintain our infrastructure, design complex mechanical systems, ensure energy flows to our homes and industries, and solve the practical challenges that affect society at large. It is true that AI, ML, and other modern technologies hold immense promise for the future. They will definitely play a pivotal role in areas such as automation, smart systems, data analysis, and communications. But let's not forget that these technologies often rely on the physical system that core engineers create. AI can analyze data, but it is civil engineers who build the smart cities of tomorrow. Machine learning can optimize energy efficiency, but it is electrical and mechanical engineering who design and manage the power grids and machinery that keep industries running. In this way, core engineering is not at odds with emerging fields. It definitely complements and strengthens them. To address these issues, we have assembled a panel of distinguished experts from academia, industry, education institutions, and we have a huge presence of government here. Their collective insights will shed light on the importance of preserving core engineering disciplines, even as we embrace newer fields like AI and ML. They'll help us understand the risks of devaluing the core engineering programs and highlight the strategies for ensuring that students continue to see value in pursuing careers in these fundamental fields. Today's discussions are not just academic, they have real-world implications. Without a balanced approach to engineering education, we could face a future where the shortage of skilled professionals in core disciplines threatens our ability to maintain and expand our critical infrastructure. This is not just about preserving the past, it's about safeguarding our future. Moreover, in the context of national development, India's ambitious goals, from sustainable urbanization to energy independence, we depend heavily on the contributions of core engineers. As we work towards achieving these goals, we need a new generation of professionals who are not only vested in cutting-edge technologies, but also grounded in the principles and practices of core engineering. Today's event is not just a call to action for educators, policymakers, industry leaders. We see a good number of, the representatives from the affiliated colleges and all. It's a call to students to recognize the vast potential and career opportunities that exist in core engineering fields. From the sustainable development of smart cities to innovations in renewable energy, core engineering disciplines remain at the forefront of solving the world's most pressing challenges. Your presence here today underscores the importance of this issue, and your engagement will be very crucial in shaping the future direction of the engineering education. Together, we must chart a course that balances the excitement of emerging technologies with the critical need for traditional engineering skills. We owe it to our students, our industries, and our nation to maintain a robust, well-rounded engineering education system. I look forward to the valuable insights that will emerge from today's discussions and deliberations, and to working together to ensure that core engineering continues to thrive along the rise of AI, ML, and other cutting-edge fields. Thank you for being here and for your commitment to this cause. Thank you very much, and thanks to the university for arranging this very nice the program. And we have Skill Development Corporation Divya here, and I think who knows what system needs, what the industry is looking for. So are we prepared for that? So I think there are a lot of challenges to be they're discussed and deliberated. By taking the the hint that basic systems have to be there, we can constantly add on new things, trendy things, and things which really help us simultaneously to grow and do something for the country and the state. Thank you very much. On it.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening address and for sharing such valuable insights. Your words have truly set the tone for today's discussions. Now we would resume with the momentous occasion. I request the Registrar of Anna University to present a memento to the Additional Chief Secretary to the Government Higher Education Department. Please give a big round of applause. I request our Registrar to give a memento to the Commissioner, Directorate of Technical Education, Guindy. I request our Registrar to present a memento to the Additional Chief Secretary to the Government Higher Education Department. I request Professor Usha Ma'am to present a memento to the Commissioner to the Managing Director, TNSDC.
I request the dignitaries to look forward for a group photograph. For a group photograph, yes.
Now we will have a short networking break in the entrance of the auditorium. Refreshments are provided. We would request everyone to be back for the panel discussion in 5 to 7 minutes.
அனைவரும் இடைவேளைக்கு பின்னர் 5 to 7 நிமிடத்திற்குள் ஆடிட்டோரியமில் அசெம்பிள் ஆகவும்.
Hello. Hello. Testing. Hello. 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 One. Hello. 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 Testing. Hello. Yeah, sound away.
இப்பதான் check test 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check.
கீழே இருந்தா Dear audience, the session is about to start. Please remain seated. Dear audience, the panel discussion will start in a few minutes. Please remain seated.
May we request you all to assemble?
Check. No, they will be here. We just welcome them. That's it. Check. Yeah, fine.
We will now move on into our panel discussion on a topic that holds significant relevance in today's fast-evolving technological landscape: why core engineering still matters, and the need to continue core programs despite the AI and ML boom. As our session moderator, we have the Managing Director of Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation, Tirumati J. Innocent Divya.
அமர்வு மதிப்பீட்டாளராக தமிழ்நாடு திறன் மேம்பாட்டுக் கழகத்தின் நிர்வாக இயக்குனர் திருமதி ஜே இன்னசென்ட் திவ்யா ஐஏஎஸ் அவர்களை பணிவுடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Next up, we will be introducing our panel members one after the other. We invite the Managing Director of ZF Commercial Vehicle Control Systems India Limited, Thiru Kanniyappan.
திரு கன்னியப்பன், நிர்வாக இயக்குனர் ZF Commercial Vehicle Control Systems India Limited அவர்களை அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Next up, we welcome the Techno HR Leader, Head of Academic Alliances at TCS, Dr. Susindran K.M.
டாக்டர் சுசீந்திரன் KM, டெக்னோ HR லீடர், தலைமை அதிகாரி, அகாடமிக் அலையன்சஸ் TCS அவர்களை பணிவுடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Following, we would like to welcome the distinguished scientist, former Director, CVRDE, Dr. P. Shivakumar.
CVRDE முன்னாள் இயக்குனர், மேதக விஞ்ஞானி டாக்டர் பி சிவகுமார் அவர்களை பணிவன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Next up, we welcome the Vice Chairman of RMK Group of Institutions, Thiru R.M. Kishore.
திரு RM கிஷோர், துணைத் தலைவர், ஆர்எம்கே குழும நிறுவனங்கள் அவர்களை அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Next, we would like to welcome the Senior Vice President, Ashok Leyland, Dr. K. Subramaniam.
டாக்டர் கே சுப்பிரமணியன், மூத்த துணைத் தலைவர் அசோக் லேலாண்ட் அவர்களை பணிவுடன் வரவேற்கிறோம்.
Finally, we welcome the educationist and the career guidance specialist, Thiru Ramesh Prabha.
இறுதியாக கல்வியாளர் மற்றும் தொழில் வழிகாட்டி நிபுணர் திரு ரமேஷ் பிரபா அவர்களை அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறோம். Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. A warm welcome again to all the distinguished members here who have assembled here to discuss on very, very important issues that are crucial at this point. While we all acknowledge that there is a surging interest in AI and ML and other emerging technologies, why core engineering still matters is the core of the issue. I think core of engineering itself is core engineering subjects. I think there's nothing to dispute on that. But then we are here to hear from our distinguished panelists here, drawn from various streams, technology, industry, academia, career guidance, all of them put together, and some deep understanding and insights into what is happening and where are we headed. So I think first question I would like to pose to the Vice Chairman of RMK group of institutions, because we would like to set the context here. Now, why is there so much interest from the parents as well as, because any educational institution for that matter, you would increase the number. We heard the additional chief secretary now, and he said there's significant reduce in the number of core engineering seats as compared to those in the emerging technology. So why is there so much of demand? Do you see this as something natural, and what is this trend about?
Thank you very much, madam. But as I join you in saying that engineering, when you talk about engineering, I remember a quote from Scott Adams which says, engineers love to solve problems. If they do not find a problem, they will create a problem and then solve it. So that's how the engineering is going forward. Like institutions like us, what we try to do is we try to innovate about the curriculum, about the internships that has been created for the students, madam. General trend is the peer pressure is what the students generally see when they talk about AI and things. After 2020, when COVID entirely changed the perspective of education, we brought education into laptops and cell phones for our students. What that has made is engineering was also taught through cell phones, right? And the ChatGPT, invention of ChatGPT and Bard, what is made is it is fascinating for the students, because any question that is they have been asked, it tells. Even an AICT chairman, when he was here in Anna University a couple of months ago, he was saying that he wanted to create a program, poem for AICT. ChatGPT was able to create it in 30 seconds and give him. So these types of things, when the students see, they get fascinated towards the AI and things. And if I select, my friends also try to select an AI courses. The problem here, the big problem here is the labs that we have to create for the AI things, right? And then the faculty pool, right? Creating a faculty pool is a very big thing. So that is where we tend to address now. For the past 4-5 years, we are trying to have a lot of workshops, a lot of internships. We are sending our faculty members to go to the internships, making them go to the industries, finding out from them what the industries actually say. For example, Siemens and Rolls-Royce has created a predictive maintenance system where the engines that has been operated in the aeroplanes and things, instead of having a retrostatic effect, they try to have it before itself, and then the cost is coming down. Right, and for an electrical engineer, smart grids, when AI is being introduced, they are able to have more number of power distributions instead of the power failures is happening right throughout the things. Things like this, already the core engineering and is already adapting towards the AI. So institutions has to be ready to match this one. And we are ready, and we have been trying to do lot over those things, madam.
Yeah, just to rephrase the question, sir. We agree that engineering institutions are doing a lot in integrating emerging tech with the core skills. But the fact that the number of seats are reducing every year, what is that trend about? Do you talk to industry about the demand in employment for these emerging technologies? When we are integrating, then it is not a problem. But when we are going into core, when we are compromising the core seats and going into data science, AI, ML, that's when the problem arises.
That entirely depends upon the recruitment pattern of the industries. Whoever come now for recruitment asks whether the students have a basic knowledge about AI, basic knowledge about machine learning, data science, the emerging trends. So when that is there, even a mechanical engineer, he has to be well versed in coding to get a job in any of the good MNCs. Generally, when there is no takers, the seats tend to reduce. To give you an example on that thing, 23,000 seats were added in Tamil Nadu last year. Out of the 23,000 seats, 20,000 seats were from computer and computer-oriented courses. That's basically because no takers. When there's no takers, engineering colleges are not able to sustain financially on those things. So it's very difficult to maintain the labs, give salaries and things. That's the basic reason for reducing the...
Got it, sir. So demand from the perspective of the students. So here I would like to pose a question to Mr. Kanniyappan, who spent a long time in the industry. So what is the demand like for core engineering subjects in the industry, sir?
Yeah, thank you, madam. So basically we should understand these are all two separate topics. Core engineering is a basis on which we build everything. It's like in Tamil we say, no, suvar irundal dhaan chitram varaya mudiyum mari. The basic infrastructure of the physical system is needed. A machine is needed for a AI or ML to work because you need to collect data from the system. It may be a machine, it may be a vehicle, it may be anything. Because what has happened today is everything can be made intelligent. A machine which was dumb some years ago, now you can make it intelligent. The machine can talk to the next machine can talk to the person working in that machine, and it can talk to any ecosystem. Then that gives you an opportunity to collect data, because once you create intelligence with the kind of system that we put in the machine, you are able to collect the data in the machine, and that is the basis on which you build your AI or ML framework. Because essentially, the data is the source of building the ML, machine learning, the model building. Because you know the model building is basically from the statistics. If we have a truck running on road, historically we were not having data about the truck that is running on road. But today, if you put a telematics in the system, in a real time you can monitor where the truck is, what is the condition of the truck, various elements in the truck. You will be able to, there was a mention about the predictive type of maintenance. Now you will be able to even understand when the system in the machine can break down, because you are monitoring the condition of the systems in the machine. If the system is an engine or if the system is a transmission, you can actually in a real time monitor the condition. The fact that you are able to monitor the condition, you are able to collect the data. The data is a source on which now you build your model. In statistics, we have learned, some failures are based on, the variable distribution. Then you build a model, then you are able to predict when a particular element in the machine can fail. So the AI and ML now become relevant because you are able to collect data. Historically, the data was not available. But in the last few years, if you see, the amount of data that we collect is huge. And the data is needed to build the model, data is needed to build the accuracy of the model, data is needed to predict the future. So there are two separate topics. Core engineering is needed to build a vehicle, design a vehicle, manufacture a vehicle, everything. Same case, if you need in a factory, you collect lot of data, but then this is on a basic core system, the physical system. So we have to clearly understand the purpose of the core engineering versus the purpose of the data analytics, model building and predictive analytics, etc. Two separate things. Both are needed. the ability to really collect data and analyze, process, predict the future has become extremely important now because it makes life easy for all of us. People can sit from the home and then manage the factory, which was not possible earlier. While it is extremely important to have a scheme of a talent pipeline to be built in the AI and ML, because India should be the talent pipeline for the world. Our youngsters, with their ability to really work on all these computer systems and digital systems, and their ability to really look at data in the way it should be looked at, their ability to code facilitates, the whole thing easier than what otherwise it is. Now, as I'm saying, more people are joining. In a way, it is good, but that does not mean the same work cannot be done by the core engineers. Core engineers can be made to write codes. They can be trained to manage even the AI ML systems. That's what we do in the factories. Not that for everything you need to have only ML and AI experts. The current team should be developed to work in that type of ecosystem, for which one approach could be the curriculum can be accordingly adapted. Everybody need to have the ability to do coding and programming. It's not anything to do with any particular field of study. So I would say it's extremely important to have the core engineering, and if people are really coming out of the core engineering and going to this, we need to educate them, we need to tell them. Because in a factory, everything is only core engineers. There is a separate organization. We have a separate global capability centers in which you put people to do the analytics like that. But then in the core factory, India has to strengthen its position in manufacturing, means you need large amount of core engineers to come there, because they can only set up a manufacturing facility, they can only set up a product development system, they can only run project management. Extremely important to have huge number of core engineers, because as we move forward, India is planning to look at growth in a big way, all this developed India type of framework. It needs a lot of core engineers as well, but then it has to be correctly understood, and then the communication should flow into the system, including the society, including the. But as I told you, let us not have that even demarcation. Curriculum should be developed to have the ability to do both. Meaning, core engineers should be able to have the ability to do coding. Not a big topic. Today, when they come to the plants, they are trained to have the coding. Because manufacturing services is slowly it is becoming combined. It's not separate anymore.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you made a very important point that core foundational skills for any manufacturing capability needs to be core engineering skills, and we can build up on that by integrating with these emerging technology skills. Here I would like to pose a question to Dr. Subramaniam, who's also in the manufacturing space. Do you see this as a worrying trend, because you being a manufacturing company by itself, the Ashok Leyland, do you see the number of seats in the mechanical stream significantly getting reduced every year? Do you see this as a worrying trend?
Yes, thank you for inviting me to the panel. I think I'll answer that through a little example. We do a lot of data analytics, AI, ML inside Ashok Leyland. And Ashok Leyland, as a very quick introduction, I think you know, is a commercial automobile manufacturer. We make buses, we make trucks. One of the examples where we want to do use AI kind of tools, and this is just one example I'm taking. When you look at how a vehicle is built, in the front of the vehicle there is an engine. In the back of the vehicle there are wheels, front also there are wheels, but the back wheel is the wheel that is driven by the engine. So there is something called a transmission, which means you have to take the power from the engine which is in front and you have to give it to the wheel which is in the back. So here in between there is something called a clutch. Anybody who has driven a car or a bike, you know what a clutch is. What is a clutch? It is just two discs which are touching each other. And if they are touching each other properly, the power is transmitted from the engine to the wheel because of friction. because these wheels are rough and there is friction and there is power transmitted. And if you slowly release those two discs, then there is some slippage that occurs. So the function of this clutch is to accommodate the speed difference between the engine and the wheel. So the engine may be running at one speed, the wheel may be running at a slightly different speed, especially when you're shifting your gear. And that is the job of the clutch. So we wanted to develop a tool to predict when a clutch will fail. So I want to tell my customer that your clutch is going to fail next week, right? And remember, my customers are all lorry drivers. So a lorry driver, if he knows that the clutch is going to fail next week, and by the way, the clutch is the weakest link in the automobile. It is meant to be like that. It is like a fuse. It is meant to fail first when you overload the vehicle or when something wears out and so on. So I want to tell people when the clutch is going to fail so that they can do something preventive, and therefore they are not stranded in the middle of the highway next week when the clutch indeed fails. So we started doing this through artificial intelligence. We actually, the first attempt was to outsource this job to a very well-known data sciences company. I won't name the company. It was a miserable failure, this project. Why? According to them, they did all the right things. We gave them all the data from all the sensors on the vehicle, whatever it is we are measuring. Right? And they looked at patterns in the data to see which pattern correlates to failure in the clutch. So this is a classic problem that a data scientist will solve. And they will put in some intelligence on top of it and see if they can ultimately be very proficient at recognizing patterns. Project was a miserable failure. In other words, the ultimate tool that was developed could not predict clutch failure to any degree of confidence. There was false positives, there were also false negatives. So then ultimately we took it on internally. I'm not saying we were better than a company or anything like that. The only difference was we also understood how a clutch works, which is the core part, right? There is some physics behind how a clutch works and therefore how it fails. And ultimately how a clutch fails, to all the mechanical engineers in the audience, is there is a lot of slippage that occurs, and the more it slips, the more it fails. The more higher probability that it fails. So it's a very simple concept, right? When you have two friction disks which are rubbing against each other, the more it rubs, the faster it will fail. So all we had to do is to incorporate some of this science, some of this, I mean, you can call it core, but once you understand it, it's actually very simple. It is just the mechanics and materials of two surfaces rubbing against each other. So the combination of core and, of course, some pattern recognition in the data and some intelligence on top of it gave us a tool that is amazing today. It can predict these failures before they happen to at least about 90% confidence, which is a fantastic tool for a customer, because if a clutch fails, he will genuinely be stranded in the middle of the highway. So my answer to the question is, yes, we are worried. We are not worried that people are learning artificial intelligence. We are very happy. But we are worried that they are not learning both. I think you cannot get by with just a tool. You also need to understand the problem, right? If you give me a vessel and a stove, I cannot cook a meal. Those are only tools. I also need the ingredients to cook the meal. I need to know how to cook the meal. Even if I have an AI tool that concocts the greatest recipe for the most tasty item and gives me step A, B, C, D, E and tells me if you do all this, you will get this food item at the end of the cooking session. To me, the sum of A plus B plus C plus D plus E is more than its parts. And what is the difference between the sum and the final dish that is cooked? It is the skill of the cook, right? And to me, that is the human intelligence above the artificial intelligence. And I think that still exists today. So we need all of this. We need AI, we need core engineering, and we need the people to intersect these two in such a meaningful fashion that they can produce something useful out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So vividly explained using a beautiful instance, yeah, a real world example. And the message was loud and clear, don't shake the foundations. Thank you very much. So over to you, Dr. P. Shivakumar, sir. You have such extensive experience with the DRDO, CVRDE as director. So how do you see this trend in the defense sector, particularly where security systems are all well placed? How do you see the AI ML boom while compromising on the core engineering streams?
Yeah, thank you all. First, I don't know how many people today you have seen in newspaper. The first paper itself you might have seen artificial intelligence. So one group says there is doctors, USA, UK. They are doing kidney transplantation, and they could predict to the extent of 60% or 70%. But the data from the doctors from USA, UK, when it was fed into artificial intelligence, today with the artificial intelligence tool, as a tool, it could improve the accuracy to 80%. I hope now you understand the difference. Doctors reports, it gives 60%. With artificial intelligence, the data what doctors are having, with that data, today artificial intelligence tool gives accuracy 80%. This is the difference. And as explained by our Ashok Leland, the Vice President, today the informations gathered in a machine, if it is protected over a period of time for the machine, the predictive maintenance mentioned by both ISZF as well as Leland, it is possible. So what I'm trying to say here with respect to commercial, they are all used for the purpose of, instead of going through 1,000 documents by a human brain, the 1,000 documents are shortlisted in a short time with the parameters important for the particular machine are done in a very short time. Quickest time, you are getting a decision. But AI cannot do ethics, you know very well. Indiran movie is a good example for that. So coming to the subject of defense, see, AI is used maybe in a different form you have been using. Today you are seeing drone, D-R-O-N-E, drone, unmanned aerial vehicle in a simple, small way. So when, I don't know at which Independence Day, you might have seen thousands drones were flying. These are all, it's not the new thing to that. Coming to defense, the importance is that first, where I can't send human beings, you know very well the threats from mine, all these things. So you can deploy in the form of, cobots, robots, unmanned ground vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles, all these kind of things. When you give the autonomous nature to that, when it is autonomous, it is using the intelligence. But only thing is, whatever algorithms you built into that, a machine which has the algorithms, whatever way you derived from your experience, expertise, all. This experience, expertise comes from the engineer, the core engineer. Whether he is a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer or electronics engineer, a combination of all these people, they make this kind of complex algorithms and is given to artificial intelligence in the form of data science. With that, artificial intelligence takes decisions. Yeah, it's good, artificial, smart, soft, all these things, but risks are there, you know very well. As I said, example, Indian as well as ethics available in that. We have been using, for example, in defense, for mainly intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. It means in the border area, what is happening on the other side, how to see that. So use equipment like sensors, radars. With that, we get the data, and that analysis, it means whether intruder is a human being, or it is a tank, or it is an aircraft, or it is an helicopter, or it is a missile. All these things are done by the surveillance, that ISR, it does. It's all today done with the use of artificial intelligence. And today, autonomous weapons are there. So once surveillance gives the data that the enemy is in the form of a human being or a threat from an equipment like tank or vehicle, so it gives a signal to the weapon fires them and destructs. So in the form of weapon system, again, unmanned aerial vehicle, it goes for surveillance, you know very well, you can deploy, for surveillance purpose and get the data and detect enemy and destroy. Similarly, unmanned ground vehicles, particularly in the areas like desert, where mines are there, such kind of areas, we can deploy this kind of vehicle with the protection so that we can again generate data and protect. It's from defense side. Actually, if you really see that, when you start engineer, I mean, computer science and all introduced maybe the 2K problem, you all know that. When we were doing software, actually, as a mechanical engineer, I had to write software earlier days. I don't know how many people know PDP 11 by 6 or something in our DTE. So we used to take 2 cards to get the value of 2 into 2 is equal to 4. I have to wait for 1 day, next day only I will get the result. It is in 1975-76. So it means the computers were there. When computer science was not there, computer was there in engineering college. I am from this college, I am an alumni of this college. So it is there, it's a tool. What I'm trying to say is a computer is a tool, computer science is a tool, artificial intelligence is a tool, all are tools. But tools cannot do the job on their own. But in defense, we are using in a big way. Actually, from the commercial side, they use for the purpose of what you call predictive maintenance, and you can good supply chain management, excellent you can do it with that, particularly production organization like Leyland is a very good supply chain, and demand prediction it's possible from the thing. Lot of advantages are there, both commercial and defense. But for that, the core people should give the data. That's a data science. With that only, AI can do. The accuracy, what today say 80%, what is the restriction? Why it is 80%? Why not 99%? For example, today, I think engine development. So I know engine development, transmission development. When we did in the era of 1980s, we are not having much data. But when we started testing engine and transmission for different power category, different types of engines, we gathered information from the testing. Artificial intelligence will not do testing. The testing data we collect and keep it. So when I design an engine, when I design a transmission, the data is useful because in the form of a software, we write what kind of power to be produced, what kind of thermal effect on that, what kind of vibration effect on, all these things, the data collected in the testing are very useful to improve the accuracy, performance. It means I am updating the software day by day from the knowledge, experience I am gaining from design and testing to make that particular software to the maximum efficiency possible. So good efficiency, good safety, good what you call improvement in all supply chain management, product development, all. But it can't give a tank. AI cannot give a tank. AI cannot give a UAV. AI cannot give that. So basic core engineering, without that, is not possible. So my suggestion is how a mechanical engineer learns a software. So artificial intelligence, machine language should be part of your curriculum. It means the basic course itself, how you can add. See, when we studied 5 years, today 4 years, you remove a lot of drawings. I know problem while interviewing my candidates. I could see that knowledge on drawings, starting from 2D, 3D, then again coming to what you call perspective views, isometric views. How many students coming out of the college are good in drawings? So what is lacking is in the field of our engineering subject. So I strongly recommend make it 5 years, add these kind of tools along with core engineering. It's an attraction. Second, you see today advertisements, whatever coming from the government of India. It comes, how many computer science are they demanding? If they demand 200 mechanical engineering, 200 electronics, 100 electrical, computer science is hardly 10, 20 for the R&D organization, whether it's a Department of Atomic Energy or Department of Space or DRDO or CISIR. The demand with respect to computers is less. That is, I'm talking about R&D organizations. Whatever we saw, CS, computer science, in general I call, because everything comes under computer science. It is a tool. Lot of service organizations, yes, 100% service engineers are there because the service organization gets the data from core industries like Ashok Leyland, Tata, Telco, all. So this is the difference I could make it. Defense we have been using, it will be used, it is very essential. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that meaningful insight on and a good news for all the core engineering enthusiasts that there is still hope for design, research and development for the core engineers. Again, moving forward to Dr. K.M. Susindran, the techno head of alliances from TCS. You've been into the space of testing the kids for employment. How do you see this trend, this number of seats in the core engineering reducing and the number of seats in other sectors increasing, even cross-functional? How do you see this trend in employment of these candidates?
First of all, I think I would like to thank Higher Education Department and Anna University for organizing this very important, pertinent topic for this time. I'm coming from the company which is hiring the largest, I think we are the largest fresher recruiter for several years, several decades. And we have been hiring almost 50% from non-computer science students for all these years. And I'm telling the company, which is the largest recruiter in the country for all these years, we are hiring almost 45 to 50% non-computer science students from the campuses all these years. And almost 90% of our leaders, they are non-computer science. I think they came from the non-computer science background, right? Even I think our Tata Motors Chief Digital and Information Officer, he did his BTech Chemical Engineering from Anna University, AC Tech. And this, even Sundar Pichai, I can quote n number of leaders who are leading the technology space are from non-computer science background. And this industry is built by the core engineers, right? I think, and we always say technology is an enabler. And for that, I think all these years, to address the point, yes, we don't differentiate, we don't give very importance to, I think it is importance to the computer science student versus non-computer science students. We treat everyone equal, and what we look at is the same principles, whether they have the I think high attitude and the aptitude and the quants and little bit of programming, and even if it is not there, it is not, we don't look at it, how they can articulate and whether they are able to identify problem and solve the problem. These are the main thing in which the premises we hire students. Now, why we feel it is why I have been going and talking about this subject all these, I think last 1 year is, we have a business unit called Digital Engineering and IoT and Digital Engineering. It is almost $2 billion unit. And 95% of the unit, I think 45,000 employees in that unit, they are from non-computer science. And we build top-notch, I think it is, we are part of designing the car to designing a car, and I think part of the manufacturing the part, and car or Hitachi, I think, or Mitsubishi, the boiler, or smart manufacturing devices, you name anything, we are there. Even Government of India, we are part of a project which is very, very confidential, we are part of that. For that, all these places, we need core engineers, plus obviously we train them in the technology area when they come in TCS. So from an industry, I feel it is very important, we need core engineers, because initially, I think last maybe few decades, we solved the automation of the processes. But now, we have to come up with the new inventions or new area innovations in the area of the industries, like EV is already everyone is talking about, and when manufacturing, retail, and bank retail, and all the event semiconductor industry which we are Tata have opened. All these places, we have to, if we have to make an impact, it has to be in that industry and maybe the AI or the technology part. For that, definitely the core engineers are needed. That is my submission. And we are from, I think, from Tata, I think we are into all sectors like Tata Electronics, even I think JLR we opened recently. For all these sectors, we need core engineers. And so for that, I think whatever we could, we can definitely we can partner and we can spread the word to the parents, and because they are the main decision makers, parents and students, which we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So loud and clear messages from the industry that they are looking forward to core engineers and there is a lot of potential for employment. இப்போ நம்மெல்லாம் வந்து பிரின்சிபல்ஸ் வந்திருக்கீங்க, சேர்மன் வந்திருக்கீங்க. எனி decision about increasing, decreasing the number of seats in any core, நம்ம வந்து we are based on two factors. ஒன்று இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில இருந்து நம்மளுக்கு என்ன டிமாண்ட் இருக்கு, இன்னொன்று பேரண்ட்ஸ் சைடு ஆர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் என்ன கேட்குறாங்கன்னு. ஸோ we have now a career guidance specialist and an educationist. இதெல்லாம் நீங்கள் வெளியில இருந்து வாட்ச் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க. ஸோ ஏன் பேரண்ட்ஸ் இப்போ காமன் லேமெண்ட் என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா, சார் கூட சொன்னாங்க RMK குரூப்ல இருந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் இதுதான் கேட்குறாங்க. ஸோ we have to give students what they want. How do you think this trend is now developing? இது ஏன் வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் மத்தியில் இது வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஹைப் கிரியேட் ஆயிருக்கு?
குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன். நானும் கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் MITயில் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் டெக்னாலஜி படித்தவன் தான். பட் மீடியாவுக்கு வந்துட்டதால இவங்கெல்லாம் பேசுன மாதிரி நான் சப்ஜெக்ட் பேச போகிறது கிடையாது, மறந்து போச்சு இதெல்லாம். பேசிக்கலி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் பேட்டர்ன் ஆர் பேரண்ட்ஸ் பேட்டர்னுக்கு எந்த ப்ரொஃபஷனல் பேசிஸும் கிடையாது. இது வந்து நம்ம பெரும்பாலும் எல்லாம் இந்த விவசாய குடும்பத்திலேருந்து வந்தவங்க 80%. அங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு வருஷம் தக்காளி போடுவான், எல்லா ஊரே தக்காளி போட்டு தெருவில் கொட்டுற லெவலுக்கு இல்லை 20 காசு per கிலோன்னு வந்துடும். அடுத்த வருஷம் ஒரு ரூபாய் தக்காளி போட மாட்டான், 95 ரூபா. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டிராஸ்டிக்காக இந்த எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் ஒரு இதுதான் அதுதான் கிடையாது. ஒரு 7 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னே ஐடி, ஏன் ஐடின்னு கேட்டால் தெரியாது. அதுக்கு பிறகு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ஈசி, அப்புறம் ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் இது. இப்போ 3 வருஷமாக பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் இன்ஜினியரிங் தான். அது ரீசன் என்னென்னா கிளாரிட்டி வந்து பையன்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த பேர் குரூப் ப்ரெஷர் தான். இந்த 10th ஆரம்பிச்சிட்றான், கூகுளில் தட்டி ஒரு 10 வேர்டு எடுத்துகிட்டு வந்துடுறான். இதை நான் படிக்கணும்னு சார்றான். டே இது யூஜிலே கிடையாதுடா, இதெல்லாம் பிஜியில் இருக்குது, ரிசர்ச்சில் தான் இருக்குன்னு அடம் பண்ணுவான். இல்லை அதை நான் படித்தேன், அது என்னன்னு தெரியாது. அந்த ப்ரெஷர் பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு 2 மிக்சடு. எல்லாத்தையும் தெரிஞ்ச பேரண்ட்ஸ் ஒன்று இருக்கும், அது சின்ன பர்சன்டேஜ். எதுவுமே தெரியாத பேரண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும், அது சேஃபு, அது ஒரு பர்சன்டேஜ். இந்த தெரியாமல் தெரிஞ்சதாகவே பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கிற பேரண்ட்ஸு ஒரு காம்பினேஷன். ப்ளஸ் கெரியர் கவுன்சிலிங்கில் என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னா, ஒரு 10-15 இயர்ஸ்க்குலாம் முன்னெல்லாம் வரும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அப்பாவும் பிள்ளையும் வருவாங்க, இந்த மார்க்ஸு இந்த இது கொஞ்சம் என்னன்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா நாங்கள் அதில் சேர்ந்துருவோம் அப்படிம்பாங்க. இப்போ அதெல்லாம் மாறிடுச்சு. நான் முடிவு பண்ணதை என் வாயில் வர வச்சு எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிடணும். அங்கேருந்து அப்பாவும் பிள்ளையும் வந்து உட்காருவாங்க. சார் பையன் சார் சின்ன பிள்ளையில் 6வதுலேருந்தே சார் காரை வச்சு உருட்டிக்கிட்டே இருப்பான் சார், பயங்கர இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் சார். சார் என்ன சார் பண்ணலாம்? ஏங்க நீங்களே குழு கொடுத்துட்டீங்க, ஆட்டோமொபைல் எடுக்க சொல்லுங்கள் அழகாக அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு 3 நிமிஷம் ஆட்டோமொபைல்லாம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணி முடித்த உடனே அப்புறம் இந்த கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் எப்படி சார் அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க. சரி நான் பொறுமையாக, கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் பிரமாதமான பிரான்ச், அது மேலே எந்த குறையும் கிடையாது. பாருங்கள் சென்னை வந்து நம்ம டெட்ராய்ட் ஆஃப் இதுன்னு சொல்கிறோம், இந்தியான்னு சொல்கிறோம், இவ்வளோ ஆட்டோமொபைல் கம்பெனிஸு. இங்கே பாருங்கள் ஃபோர்டு கூட 3 ஃபோர்டு கூட இப்போ திரும்ப திறக்கிறாங்க. இதுன்னு எல்லாம் இன்னும் ஒரு 3 நிமிஷம் பேசி, சார் நீங்கள்லாம் ரொம்ப விவரம் தெரிஞ்சார், உங்களுக்கு தெரியாதா சார்? மற்றபடி கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் வேலை கிடைக்கும் தானே சார்? 2வது திரும்ப ஆரம்பிச்சு என் கிளாஸ்மேட்ஸ் பாருங்கள் ஆட்டோமொபைல் படிச்சுட்டு இதெல்லாம் இருக்காங்க அதெல்லாம் இருக்காங்க எல்லாம் சொல்லி முடித்தோடனே, ஓகே சார் நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரியே நாங்கள் கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் எடுத்துக்கிறோம் சார், வரட்டுமா அந்த அப்படி. ஸோ இதுதான் இன்றைக்கி கவுன்சிலிங்காக இருக்குது. வந்து இதுக்கு வந்து எந்த ஒரு பேசிஸுமே இப்போ இல்லைங்கிறது தான் ஒரு ரீசன். பட் என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கனாக்கா, இப்போ கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் வந்து ஆலெல்லாம் அது மாதிரி இருந்திருக்கு. இன்றைக்கி வந்து நம்மளோட MITலேருந்து தான் கலாம் வந்தார். கலாம் எடுக்கிற காலத்தில் ஏரோநாட்டிக்கல் ப்ரிஃபர்டு பிரான்ச் கிடையாது, அது ஒதுக்கப்பட்ட பிரான்ச். அது அன்னைக்கு வந்து எலக்ட்ரானிக்ஸும் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்டேஷன் தான் டாப் பிரான்ச்சஸ் வந்து. பட் அவர் எடுத்தார், கண்ட்ரிக்கே பிரசிடென்ட் ஆனார். அது மாதிரி வந்து ஒரு காலகட்டம் இன்றைக்குமே இட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கவுன்சிலிங் நடக்கும். உங்களுக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு CG MITலாம் வரணும்னா 199.75 199.5 இந்த ரேஞ்சில் இருக்கும்போது எல்லாம் ஃபில் பண்ணிவிடுவாங்க. அப்படி இந்த மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் இன்ஜினியரிங் பிராண்ட் ஒன்று அமைதியாக இருக்கும். அது அதை விட குறைச்ச மார்க்கு கூட கிடைக்கும். இவனுக்கு அது என்னன்னு தெரியாதுங்கிறதாலேயே அது வேண்டான்னு சொல்லிட்டு இன்னும் கீழே போய் இன்னொரு இடத்துல போய் கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் எடுப்பான். நான் ஒரு எவ்ரி இயர் அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 10 கேர்ள்ஸ், அதில் கேர்ள்ஸ் நிறைய வராங்க, மதமாற்றம் பண்ணி அவங்கள இல்லை இந்த கேம்பஸ் உள்ளே போகிறதே நீ பெருசு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பண்ணுறது வந்து இது வந்து எம்ஐடியில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ரப்பர் அண்ட் பிளாஸ்டிக்ஸுக்கு அந்த ஒரு இது இருக்கும் வந்து. ஸோ இது வந்து கொஞ்சம் எஜுகேட் பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்கு. ரெண்டாவது ரீசன் என்னென்னா, நமக்கு இந்த செக்டாரோட ரோல் மாடல்ஸே நம்ம இவங்களுக்கு யாரையும் காமிக்கல. நம்ம அங்கே சுந்தர் பிச்சை அள்ளி வைக்கிறோம், அந்த பக்கம் அதெல்லாங்கிறோம், எல்லாமே அங்கேயே பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். சரி சொல்லுப்பா, ஒரு 2 மெக்கானிக்கல், ஒரு 2 பேரை சொல்லு, ஒரு 2 சிவில்னா இதோட பெரிய ஆளுங்கள்லாம் இருக்காங்க, நம்ம சொல்லலை. ஸோ இவனுக்கு வந்து அதில் வந்து ஒரு ரோல் மாடலை நம்ம காமிக்கலை, ரோல் மாடலை பார்க்கல. அடுத்த ஒரு மேஜர் இஷ்யூ என்னன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா விஷுவலைசிங். இப்போ ஒரு ரூரல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கோ இதுக்கோ நான் ஒரு நல்ல அனாலஜி சொல்கிறேன். அவன்கிட்ட போய் நான், தம்பி நீ கேட்ரிங் டெக்னாலஜி படி, தாஜ் கொரமாண்டலில் வேலை அப்படிம்பேன். அவன் சிரிச்சுட்டு போயிட்டே இருப்பான். ஏன்னா அவன் ஆரியபவனை தாண்டி எதுவும் பார்க்கல. அப்போ சூடாக என்ன வேணும்னு கேட்டு தமிழர் எடுத்தாந்து வைக்கிறதுக்கு நான் ஒரு டிகிரி படிக்கணுமா? அப்போ தாஜை விஷுவலைஸ் பண்ணி பார்க்க எனக்கு தெரியணும். சேம் திங் ஹியர். ஐடினா என்னன்னு தெரியுது, ஒரு ஃபேக்ட்ரி எப்படி இருக்கும், ஃபேக்ட்ரிக்குள்ள என்ன நடக்கும். அண்ட் இன்னைக்கு வந்து அந்த கிரீஸ் தடவிட்டு இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் இல்லை, இன்னைக்கு எல்லாமே அதுவும் ஒயிட் காலர், அதில் 50% கேர்ள்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. இந்த விஷயம் சொல்லப்படலை, தெரியல. விஷுவலைசிங்க அவனால் வந்து அதை பார்க்க முடியல. பார்த்துருந்தானாக்கா கண்டிப்பாக அது பண்ணியிருக்கணும். ஸோ இந்த ரீசன்ஸால் நான் இதை முடிச்சுட்டு எங்கே போக போகிறேன், என்னவா இருக்க போகிறேங்கிறது எனக்கு தெரியாத ஒரு காரணத்தாலேயே சேஃபாக எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சது போயிடுறதுங்கிறது ஒரு பேட்டர்ன். இதுதான் திருப்பி திருப்பி இப்போ நடந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. பட் என்ன அப்படின்னாக்க, ஒரு ஏஐ வந்து இதில் எதையுமே ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணிட முடியாது. ஏஐ இன் மெக்கானிக்கல், ஏஐ இன் சிவில், ஏஐ இன் எலக்ட்ரிக்கல், ஏஐ இன் கெமிக்கல் தான் நடக்க போகுதே தவிர ஏஐ தனியாக எதுவுமே நடக்க போகிறது கிடையாது. அதான் உண்மை. நீங்கள் செவரல் ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கூட இந்த எல்லா பிரான்ச்சஸுமே சிவில், மெக்கானிக்கல், கெமிக்கல், எலக்ட்ரிக்கலுமே ஆன் அண்ட் ஆவரேஜ் ஒரு 2030 ஒரு 8 to 9% growth இருந்துகிட்டு தான் இருக்கு. தெர் இஸ் நோ ஸ்டாக்னேஷன் ஆர் தெர் இஸ் நோ ரிவர்ஸ். இது growth இருந்துகிட்டே தான் இருக்கு. அதே மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அட்லீஸ்ட் நெக்ஸ்ட் 20 இயர்ஸுக்கு 3 டாபிக் தான்: எனர்ஜி, என்விரான்மெண்ட், கிளைமேட். 3மே ரிலேட்டட் டு கோர் பிரான்ச்சஸ். ஸோ இந்த விஷயங்கள் அவனுக்கு சொல்லப்படணும். as you said, ஸ்கூல் காலத்திலிருந்தே சொல்லப்படணும். அப்போ தான் வந்து அதற்கு ஒரு புரிதல் வந்து இதனோட விஷுவலைசிங். பேசிக்கலி தே நீட் விஷுவலைசிங். நான் எங்கே இருக்க போகிறேன், அங்கே என்ன நடக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது அவனுக்கு தெரியல அப்படிங்கிறது தான் புரிஞ்சு. அல்லது அதை குறைவுன்னு நினைக்கிறான், அவனா ஒரு இடத்துல குறைவுன்னு நினைக்கிறான். இன்னொரு ஃபேக்டர், ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸுக்கு இல்லாத கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங்க்கு இருக்கிற ஃபேக்டர் என்னன்னாக்கா, இங்கே டிப்ளமா சப்ஸ்டியூட் கணிசமாக இருக்குது. இங்கே பாலிடெக்னிக் நிறைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியிலே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இவனுக்கு டிகிரி முடித்தா ஒரு கிரேடு வந்துடுது. இது பால் மாறாத புள்ள, சொல்கிறத கேட்டு அது பாட்டுக்கு அமைதியாக வேலை செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கு அப்படின்னு இந்த கோரில் இருக்கிற எல்லாத்துலேயுமே டிப்ளமா பாப்புலர். அப்போ அந்த சப்ஸ்டியூட்டுங்கிறதும் இதை கொஞ்சம் பண்ணுது. ஐ திங்க் ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ் ஓவர் அ பீரியட், இது அகெயின் மேட்டர் ஆஃப் இதுதான், ட்ரெண்டு தான். சடனாக ஒன் ஃபைன் டே இங்கே இது மூடிட்டாங்க, அங்கே அது மூடிட்டாங்கன்னா அடுத்த நாள் நாங்கள் பிரான்ச்சை மாற்றிப்போம், அவ்வளோதானே தவிர இதுக்கு ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஷனல் பேட்டர்ன் கிடையாது. பட் வி நீட் டு பிரிங் அ ப்ரொஃபஷனல் பேட்டர்ன்.
தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச் சார். ரொம்ப ஒரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் ஏன் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் வந்து இப்போ இந்த சர்ஜுக்குள்ளே போயிட்டாங்க ஏஐஎம்எல் அப்படின்றது. விதவுட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங், அந்த இன்சைட் இல்லாமல், விதவுட் பீங் ஏபிள் டு விஷுவலைஸ் தியர் கெரியர் இன் அன் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி. ஒரு மெக்கானிக்கல் படித்தா எந்த மாதிரி இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் வேலை கிடைக்கும், அது எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்றத விஷுவலைஸ் பண்ணாமையே ஒரு மெக்கானிக்கலாக இது மாதிரி கிடைக்கக்கூடிய நாலேஜ், அங்கேருந்து கிடைக்கக்கூடிய நாலேஜ் வச்சு டெசிஷன் எடுக்கிறாங்கன்னு. ஒன்ஸ் அகெயின் ஒரு குவிக் fire round, ஒரு one-linerல what is the message you would like to convey to the principals, the chairmen of institutions that are here, that are assembled here for this purpose? Why core engineering still matters? One-liner from each of you, please.
Mechanical and electrical and civil is going to top, as Sal said, environmental, climate and things are going to top. So we have to have a good curriculum that enables the students to know. While giving the curriculum, we shouldn't overload the students also, because the AICT says that 160 credits is maximum enough to get an degree. Right? Students will prefer to get that 160. So balancing the core concepts and AI is going to be a tough job, and some of the institutions are always doing it better. So I believe that curriculum is going to play a vital role, and also enabling the faculty, right? Upskilling the faculty, because industries today has a different demand, tomorrow has a different demand. So enabling the faculty and the curriculum is going to be a different demand, and electrical, mechanical and civil will definitely have its day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ramesh.
என்னோட சஜஷன் வந்து எங்களோட காலத்தில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா ஃபேக்ட்ரி விசிட்ஸ் கம்பல்சரியாக இருந்தது. நாங்கள் காலேஜில் ஒரு பஸ் இருக்கும், கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு இங்கேருந்து அசோக் லேலன் கிளம்பி போவோம், அது மாதிரியான ஒரு இது வந்து அதை வந்து திரும்ப கம்பல்சரியாக கொண்டு வரணும் ஒன்று. இன்னொன்று ஏஐசிடி என்ன ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன் சொல்லுதுன்னா, இதை ஸ்கூலுக்கே பண்ணுங்க அப்படிங்குது. இங்கே உள்ளே வந்து பண்ணுறது ஒரு பக்கம், +1 +2லேயே அவனை கூட்டிகிட்டு போய் 4 இடத்த காமிச்சிட்டிங்கன்னா he will know what is what, he can decide அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் இது வந்து. அதில் வந்து நிறைய பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்க இப்போ engineering colleges-ஓட consortium இருக்கு, they can take initiatives. Director of Technical Education can take initiatives. அதாவது ஒவ்வொரு பிரான்ச்சு என்னான்னு புரிய வைக்கிற இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ் வந்து இப்போ நிறைய பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்கு வந்து. அடுத்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்க இந்த இதில் இருக்கிற பாசிட்டிவ்ஸ் நான் ஒரு சின்ன சின்ன அனாலிசிஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். சிவில் சர்வீசஸில் இருக்கிறவங்கள ஹையஸ்ட் வந்து கோர் பிரான்ச்சஸ்லேருந்து இருக்காங்க, ஐஏஎம்ஸ்லேருந்து வந்திருக்கவங்கள ஹையஸ்ட் கோர் பிரான்ச்சஸ்லேருந்து வந்திருக்காங்க. இதெல்லாம் ஒரு பாசிட்டிவ் டேட்டா. அதே மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா என்னோட காலகட்டத்தில் மெக்கானிக்கலில் தப்பித்தறி கூட பொண்ணுங்களை பார்க்க முடியாது. இன்றைக்கி அதே இடத்துல போனால் 50% உள்ளே உட்காந்துருக்காங்க. அந்த சைடு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியும் சேஞ்ச் ஆகிருக்கு. வேற பேரண்ட்ஸ் மைண்ட் செட் என்ன நினைக்கிறாங்கன்னா, அவங்களுக்கும் எகெயின் புரியாததால் இது மெக்கானிக்கல் படிச்சதுன்னா ஏதோ ஒரு 2 டன் டிஎம்டி ராடை என் பொண்ணு தூக்கிட்டு போய் இங்கேருந்து அங்கே போட போகுது போலன்ற லெவலுக்கு ஒரு விஷுவலைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறதால அந்த அப்பப்போ வந்து கேட்பாங்க, சார் இது கேர்ள்ஸ் சேரலாமா அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக். இன்றைக்கி கேர்ள்ஸ் எல்லாத்துலேயும் சேரலாம். ஸோ அந்த சென்சிட்டைசேஷன் எதுவுமே நீடட். I think we can do it.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Subramaniam, please.
Couple of points. இவர் ஃபேக்ட்ரி விசிட்னு சொல்லும்போது ஞாபகம் வந்துச்சு. So those days we didn't have internships. Now we have internships. That is a good thing. But internship, Ashok Leyland, we take interns, a lot of interns every year. Interns first day orientation நடக்கும். First question என்ன கேட்பாங்க தெரியுமா? Can I work from home? It is true. It is very unfortunate. It is sad, but it is true. And our faces abdiye enga moonji abdiye expression e maaridum, because when we were at that age, we wanted to really get our hands dirty and do something. Somehow that inspiration even at the student level is lacking, and I think we have to start from there to solve this problem. Second point, I want to go one step beyond core engineering and say that fundamentals itself are lacking. So if you try to analyze why students are not getting into core engineering so much, right? I was giving a talk at a high school. Because the problem starts there. Or a 7th standard student audience. Now, simple ஒரு question கேட்டேன், நீங்கள் ஃபஸ்ட்டு என்ன மேத்ஸில் ஜாமெட்ரியில் என்ன படிச்சிங்க அப்படின்னு. And one girl raised her hand and said, so ஜாமெட்ரியில் நாங்கள் ஃபஸ்ட்டு கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் படித்தோம், ப்ரொட்ராக்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, ரூலர் அண்ட் காம்பஸ் மட்டும் யூஸ் பண்ணி 60 degree ஆங்கிள் போட சொன்னாங்க. I think everybody may remember, that is the first lesson you learn in geometry, I think. So they say you use ruler and compass, no protractor, and you are supposed to construct a 60 degree angle. And if you remember, you draw one arc and you draw one more arc, you get 60 degree angle. When she raised her hand, everybody was very enthusiastic. They all raised their hands and contributed. One person even came to the board and drew the construction and showed me. Then I asked the question, do you know why you get 60 degrees when you do this? 2 ஸ்டெப்பு கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷனில், ஒரு ஆர்க்கு இன்னொரு ஆர்க்கு, ஏன் 60 degree வருதுன்னு கேட்டேன். யாருக்குமே தெரியலன்னு மட்டும் இல்லை, nobody had thought of asking their teacher.
Teacher கிட்ட கேட்டிங்கனாலும் தெரியாது சார்.
கரெக்ட், டீச்சரும் இருந்தாங்க ஆடியன்ஸில். யாருமே டீச்சரை கேட்கல. அந்த லெசன், அந்த பாடம் நடக்கும்போது அன்னைக்கு கிளாஸில் nobody had asked this question. Nobody had thought of asking this question. எல்லாரும் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷனை மகடிச்சிட்டாங்க, எக்ஸாம்லேயும் எழுதிட்டாங்க, மார்க்கும் வந்துடுது. But why do you get 60 degrees? And when I explained that, it is a 30-second explanation. Their eyes lit up. It's a true story. Their eyes lit up. And that, hopefully, at least in my small way, I kindled some spark into students that day. This continues throughout school, and by the time you get to college, your brain is filled with so many facts by the time you write your engineering entrance exam that you stop questioning the fundamentals. And the fundamentals that if you had questioned, you would have actually learned things in a very different way. Right? There is a saying by Ramanujan, the famous mathematician. He says, an equation to me has no meaning unless it expresses a thought of God. So he says an equation to me has no meaning unless it expresses a thought of God. For him it was God. If you believe in God, you can say it is God. If you can say it is nature, you can say it is science. It is up to you. But the spirit of that saying is, how does an equation matter unless you truly understand what God or nature or science or whatever it is trying to tell you through that equation. So Newton's law we padichom ellarum, F equal to ma, everybody studied. What is the essence behind that equation? It's a very simple equation. I have asked that question in Ashok Leyland because that is the starting point of defining an automobile, something that moves, right? I have asked people what that equation means because there is nothing simpler than that. And the answers I have got back are thought-provoking, breakthrough answers. And if you think about it, there are only two things in that equation, only mass and acceleration. Mass is obvious because if you want to move a heavy object, you need more effort. Effort is force. F equal to ma. The other part was Newton's genius. Yarume yosikala. What Newton said was, acceleration da mukyam. How fast you move doesn't matter. How far you go doesn't matter. Right? And the equation la vandu speed illa. And the equation la distance illa. What does that mean? How many people have thought about it? It means that if you drive from Chennai to Bangalore, 350 kilometers, neenga ore speed la poningina, acceleration kadayadu, speed maradu, acceleration na speed மாறணும்னு அர்த்தம். உங்களுக்கு ஸ்பீடு மாறலனா உங்களுக்கு ஃபியூவலே தேவையில்லை. இப்போ பாதி பேர் this guy must be thinking this guy is crazy. So, but then what I'm saying is, when you look at such simple things that you learn even in high school, and if you think through it, doesn't take much effort, and the problem starts there. And once you develop that capacity to think through the simplest of things that you learn in science, maths, whatever it is, then core engineering will happen automatically. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, please. Kanyappan, please.
No, for me, it is not a question of does core engineering matter. Actually, you have to change the narrative. Core engineering only matters. Without core engineering, you can't build anything. You know. The idea of AI, ML and all that is slightly different topic. It's not an engineering topic. Like Dr. Subramaniam said, you study a lot of fundamentals of engineering, physics, and many things in engineering, which is required to be an engineer. But analytics can be done without engineering course. Analytics, because the data analytics are it's a statistics and predictive analytics, model building, etc. But that, as many of the speakers said, is applicable to every branch of study. Mechanical engineering with analytics, mechanical engineering with model building, that capability is required. Similarly, electrical engineering. So now EV is one of the key electric vehicles, but you need engineers with electrical engineering knowledge because you deal with power electronics and many other things, which is core engineering topic. So it is core engineering only matters as far as I am concerned. So, but I'm not undermining that we don't need to support people who get into the analytics. It is required. It is required. There is another field of study. I strongly believe Indians can actually excel in that area and support, even be a part of the talent pipeline for the entire world. We are not undermining. We can encourage, but then it is not at the cost of core engineering subjects. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sivakumar, please.
I think morning you were speaking about the data science. So my request to department is first, take 10 years data of the students coming out of the colleges. I am not talking government, you take all the data, take all the disciplines, starting from mechanical to today what you talk artificial intelligence. You start from BTech, MTech, PhD, and get the data. This will be very useful to take your decision. How many students are going abroad? How many students are going for postgraduate? How many students are continuing to enter into PhD? How many students are joining MTech then while in service? This data will give some sort of an information for you with respect to core engineering. And second, I think when Mr. Subramanian was talking about questioning, earlier I used to tell in schools colleges. Now I'm telling today it should be in schools. The questioning capability is very much essential. Unless you question, you can't learn. இப்போ நான்லாம் தமிழ் மீடியம் படித்து வந்து குன்றத்தூர் மாங்காடு பக்கத்தில் முருகன் கோயில் கீழே ஃபுல்லாக தமிழ் மீடியம். When I did PUC, even engineering, I understand, but I read as English because I studied everything in Tamil. So what I'm trying to say that the questioning capability now should come from, as he said, in the school itself. Another thing what you have to teach to the students is that how to work as a team is very important because no individual will be there in any organization. It's all team. Today I find some issues with respect to team. So how to work as a team is very important. And again, actually, as he was mentioning about the seeing natural. For example, the nanotechnology today we talk, but all very old, I don't know. If you peacock, it's a nano material. It's not today. Today we talk about nano and all, but it was there in nano material and a long time back. And whatever you are seeing that medicine, what is it? The small grains, what you call allopathy, homeopathy. Homeopathy is nothing but nanotechnology. And coming similarly, cockroach. If somebody's seen cockroach and he developed robotics because the cockroach struggled to move on any terrain. So these are the things. For example, pachondi again. So that's what we use in defense for the purpose of camouflage technology. So seeing and think about it, I think Kalam they used to say, why I'm saying Kalam, I also like two people. One is Thiruvalluvar. I always say Thiruvalluvar because Keril Vidichellum Kalliyurukku Madala Matre because I stand before you only because of education, keeping my own family backgrounds and all. Maybe in the Naan Mudhalvan சொல்றீங்க முதல் தமிழ் அது மாதிரி நாங்கள் வந்து எங்கள் ஃபேமிலியில் நாங்கள் தான் முதல்ல காலேஜுக்கே போனவங்க. So what I'm saying, the questioning team, seeing natural and the mental thing should come in the school stage. நான் சிலலாம் சொல்லுவாங்க அந்த 3 வயசு 4 வயசுல சொல்லி கொடுத்தா மைண்டில் இருக்கும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. So keeping that in all, the school, we have to give a lot of focus than in colleges. If you build in school, fine, everything will come. That's my thing about schooling. And last year I got a call from one of my retired colleagues saying that, Siva, எங்கள் பேத்திக்கு இது மாதிரி மெக்கானிக்கல் இன்ஜினியரிங் வித் ஏஐ அப்படின்னு கொடுக்குறாங்க, என்னப்பா அது அப்படின்னாரு. Then I spoke to VIT, Chennai. I spoke to the Vice Chancellor. Then he said, sir, everybody is asking AI. So we have to stand in the field means we also thought over. So we added only one subject. To make core engineering field, they added a subject called artificial intelligence to kindle interest. That is sufficient. What I am saying that will kindle interest among the students for the purpose of selecting core engineering. That's what I said at the beginning also. Add these subjects along with core engineering. It gives an attraction for the people to take it. Again, whatever I mentioned about Government of India, employment all, so you know very well, is a Government of India. 1 year it will come, 1 year may not come. So don't take it that whatever I said every year will happen. But it's happening. Recruitment is happening. 70 to 80% of people are from core engineering. So core engineering, without that, your colleges will not sustain, definitely, because if you entertain only for the service people, service-oriented organizations, then where core engineering will be there to assist them, to provide job, So keep that in mind, importance, how to attract core engineering. So you should know how to think about it, how to attract people. I will tell you about colleges, don't mistake me. People approach me, sir, I will go to X college. Sir, that department they say are very strong. So I want to go for that purpose. Because when I was in service, I used to interact with colleagues, children and all. Why you are selecting that subject? Sir, that college, that subject is good. That college, that teacher is good. That college is good. So if you ask me, Gindi, what is the best? If you ask me when I studied mathematics. The mathematics teacher, when I attended class, that's the only subject in 1974 to 76, 100% attendance in all mathematics classes. You need not prepare anything. That is sufficient for you to enter. So it means the quality of the teacher, the quality of the education is also very important. That's what I want to mention. So it's not one object. Like artificial intelligence gathers data from the data science. Colleges, chairmen, principals take data from your own thing, summarize, put it in artificial intelligence decision. You have to take based on that whether core engineering, how far core engineering and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Susindran, please.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned, TCS, we hire from all departments, civil to whatever it is. Now, like I mentioned, it is very important. We have to take the industry forward, India forward, the interdisciplinary kind of thing, right? I think it is, we need mechanical engineers and civil engineers, mechatronics engineers, instrumentation engineers to work, who also should be proficient in computer technologies. This is the need of the hour. If we don't have that combination, India will lose the edge, right? I think that is the main thing. Even we are focusing on that kind of skills, and if like I mentioned, I think some time back, I think we are working on a health tech device, like the health ring, right? I think heart rate variants, right? If a computer science student, sir was mentioning, if a computer science student, if I give this heart rate variants, what is the advantage, what we can do with that? And he will not know. So we need a domain knowledge, domain expert, I think the core engineers, who will decode that and learn the algorithms and find out the benefits of that heart rate variance and implications of heart rate variations. Like we are also developing digital skin for perfume industry, digital heart for all the things. For all these things, all these solutions, we definitely need the core engineers. And so my submission to the Anna University and even I think AICT is coming up with a major and minor. Major in computer science, minor in mechanical, mechatronics, even whatever, chemistry, whatever it is going to happen. Similarly, and major in mechanical and minor in all the core engineers. And that will, to an extent, it will solve. And some of the universities, they already have for right brain, I think for left brain, I think computer science, right brain, whatever you name, all the courses, right, astronomy to all the courses they already introduced. So we need to have that combination of major and minors. That will help us in balancing our, I think, future. And thank you once again, thank you, madam, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So the one message, I think all of the panelists agreed on one thing, that only core engineering matters. Rest can be add-ons. Definitely, namalukku vand emerging tech skills venu, AI, ML ella, data analytics ella vand how it aids as tools that feed into core engineering skills. And kandipa innoru key understanding for government ku or takeaway enna appadina, inquisitive mind right from school age and exposure to the various sectors, இது எவ்வளோ important, fundamentals understand பண்ணுறது எவ்வளோ important, இதெல்லாம் வந்து I think these are the key takeaways from this discussion. 2 questions we can take. We have a very engaging panel here. 2 questions. We are running short of time. So anybody would like to pose questions to any of the panelists, please go ahead.
Just to compliment ma'am, அந்த காலத்தில் ரேர் பிரான்ச் எடுத்து படித்தவங்க, யாருக்குமே தெரியாத, யாரும் எடுக்க விரும்பாத ஃபிஷரிஸ் சயின்ஸ் மேடம் எடுத்து அன்றைக்கே படித்தவங்க. பட் எங்களோட அதிகமாக இன்ஜினியரிங் பேசுகிறாங்க. அதான் you handle the session very well, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
மேம், இந்த பேனலிஸ்ட்டுக்கு ஒரு கேள்வி. இப்போ உங்கள் குழந்தைங்களை சேர்த்துணுன்னா எந்த கோர்ஸில் சேர்த்துவீங்க?
ஜேர்னலிசம்.
ஓகே,
இப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க?
சரி சார், ஓகே, நோ இஷ்யூஸ். என்ஜினியரிங்கில்
No, I would recommend mechanical engineering.
Very good, sir. இல்லை உங்கள் குழந்தைய சேர்த்திருக்கீங்களா, பேத்திய?
No, my daughter and son, both of them studied here.
Okay.
In material science.
Okay.
But they are in a completely different level. That's why I'm saying these are all basic courses. My son is working in London in one of the top companies, etc. So the point I'm saying is, do core engineering, build on that many more things. So
சார் நான் ஏன் இந்த கேள்வி கேட்டேன்னா, என்னுடைய டாக்டரை வந்து இந்த காலேஜில் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் அண்ட் இரிகேஷன் கோர்ஸை சேர்த்தனேன். அந்த கோர்ஸை மூடிட்டாங்க. நவ் ஷீ இஸ் டூயிங் ஐஏஎம்ல MBA பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இந்த கோர்ஸில் வாய்ப்பு இல்லைன்றது எனக்கு இப்போ தான் தெரிய வந்தது. அப்போ சரி இதை எடுத்து படிமா பார்க்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சேர்த்தனேன். பட் இன்னைக்கு அதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இல்லாமல் போயிடுச்சு. நவ் ஷீ இஸ் டூயிங் MBA in IIM. வாட் கேன் ஐ டூ?
வெரி குட்.
படித்த படிப்பு என்றைக்கும் வீணாகாத சார். டெஃபினெட்லி இன்றைக்கி வந்து செக்டர் ஓப்பனிங் எங்கேன்னு தெரியாமல் இருக்கலாம். பட் டெஃபினெட்லி படித்த படிப்பு வந்து கண்டிப்பாக அவங்க யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. அது இன்னோவேட்டிவ் மைண்ட் செட்டோடு இருக்கிறவங்க கண்டிப்பாக வெற்றியாளராக தான் ஆவாங்க. ஸோ படித்தது போக அதுக்கப்புறம் மீதி இன்னும் எவ்வளவோ வாழ்க்கை இருக்குது. ஸோ எவ்வளவோ வந்து வி ஆட் டு ஆர் ஸ்கில்ஸ். படித்தது வந்து ஒரு லெவல் தான், ஒரு 20% வச்சுக்கலாம். அதுக்கு மேலே இன்னும் நிறையா இருக்குது. ஸோ டெஃபினெட்லி டோன்ட் கெட் டிஸார்டட். இன்னைக்கு பேசுகிற டாபிக் வந்து கோர் என்ஜினியரிங்கை வந்து குறைச்சிட்டு சிக்னிஃபிகண்ட்டாக குறைச்சிட்டு மற்ற ஃபீல்ட்ஸில் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணுறது கரெக்ட் ட்ரெண்டா அப்படின்றது. ஸோ அது வந்து இப்போது நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஐ ஷேர் யுவர் கன்சர்ன். தேங்க்யூ. எனிபடி எல்ஸ்?
சார் தேங்க்யூ. இப்போ கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் படித்தா சம்பளம் கம்மி, வேலை கிடைக்கல. இதுதான் கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்டில் மேட்டர்ஸில் ஒரு முக்கியமாக நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அப்போ அதுக்கு வேலை கிடைக்கணும், சம்பளமும் அதிகமாக கிடைக்கணும்னாக்கா இன்றைக்கி வந்திருக்கக்கூடிய எமர்ஜிங் ஏரியாஸில் நிறையா ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷனை நீங்கள் வந்து கோர் பிரான்ச்சில் வந்து கோர்ஸாக வைக்கணும். அதாவது மெக்கானிக்கல் ஏஐ, மெக்கானிக்கல் ட்ரோன், இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கும் அட்ராக்டிவாக இருக்கணும். கம்பெனிஸும் இந்த ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன் தேடுற கம்பெனிஸ் அவங்க இவங்களை பிளேஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் ஆகாமல் பையனுக்கு நீங்கள் என்ன மோட்டிவேட் பண்ணாலும் சாப்பாட்டுக்கு என்ன வழின்றதை அவன் பார்க்குறானே தவிர அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் அவனுடைய பேஷன். ரெண்டாவது நீடு ஃபஸ்ட்டு. அப்போ நீடை ஃபுல்ஃபில் பண்ணணும்னா கோர் பிரான்ச்சு கூட நீங்கள் இன்றைக்கி எமர்ஜிங் சப்ஜெக்டாக அதுக்குள்ளார கொண்டாந்து அதை அட்ராக்டிவாக கோர் இன்ஜினியரிங் மெக்கானிக்கல் இல்லை ட்ரிபிளி, இது கூட ட்ரோன், சிவில் கூட ட்ரோன், இந்த மாதிரி நீங்கள் சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸை கொண்டாந்து அதுக்கு ஈக்குவல் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும். ஒரு பேப்பர் 2 பேப்பர் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா பத்தாது. ஏன்னா கம்பெனிக்காரங்க இண்டஸ்ட்ரி ரெடி இல்லைன்டுவாங்க. சும்மா இவனுக்கு அவுட்லைன் தான் தெரியுது, இவனை வச்சு நான் ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாதுன்டுவாங்க. அதனால் அதை செஞ்சிங்கன்னா இதில் வந்து ஓரளவுக்கு அடுத்த மைல் ஸ்டோன் போகிறதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்னு என்னுடைய தாழ்வான அபிப்பிராயம்.
Actually, don't mistake me. In my experience, I'll tell you. Parents used to approach me for the, what you call, employment for the children. So I do mostly for the poor people. I try to help as a policy because I'm from that category. இதில் என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னா 90% ஆஃப் பீப்புள் மார்க் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 55%, 4 பேப்பர் ஃபெயிலு. இஃப் யூ ரியலி சி, தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ டோல்ட் மேடம் டு டேக் த டேட்டா. எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா, you tell me in this forum, a mechanical engineer, an electronics engineer, an electrical engineer scored 90%, did a good project, it's a creamy. He didn't get a job? Anybody can raise hand? So there is a difference. Today I am seeing the percentage of people coming out with pass, with arrears, in so many 3-4 years all, 40 to 50%. So there is a difference. Don't get confused by the unemployment on that. Let me finish, then I'll answer your questions. This is my experience. I am an individual. I am not an artificial intelligence. I am an individual. My exposure with the people, I am talking about it. The second point, so the core engineering, you are asking which one you will take it. See, I will tell you, an engineer, when he comes out of the college, whether it's a mechanical engineer, or electrical engineer, electrical engineer, when I came out as a mechanical engineer, I came out, I joined DRDO through UPSC. I never thought I will go on to work on automatic transmission. What I studied in automatic transmission in my mechanical engineering subject. I didn't study gearbox. There is one, what you call PSG book data, that's a reference. If I do design by that, that will not work. The gearbox will not work. So now you tell me, what is your question?
Mic, please, mic.
Is that related to something? Okay.
திரும்ப நான் சொன்னதே தான் ரிப்பீட் பண்ண வேண்டியதாக இருக்குது. சம்பளம் கம்மி, வேலை இல்லை. ஏன்? பையனுக்கு இல்லாதனால நல்ல மார்க் உள்ள பையன் பிஇயில் மெக்கானிக்கல் எடுக்கவோ ட்ரிபிளி எடுக்கவோ விருப்பப்படல. சம்பளம் அதிகமாக இருக்குது, அதிக சம்பளம் வேணுன்றவன் நிறைய மார்க் உள்ளவன் அந்த பிரான்ச் எடுத்துட்றான். இதே இந்த மார்க் டிஃபரன்ஸுக்கு காரணமும் இதே தானே தவிர நீங்கள் வந்து கோர்ஸை கொஞ்சம் ஒரு இன்டர்டிசிப்ளினரியாக மாற்றி கம்பெனிஸுக்கு தேவையான மாதிரி
பண்ணாங்க சார்.
சார் அதை அக்ரி பண்ணிட்டோம். பட் சார் சொல்கிறாங்களே மெக்கானிக்கல் படித்தா அதாவது கோரில் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு மார்க் கம்மியாக இருக்காங்க, 3 வருஷம் ஆகுது, அவன் இன்புட்டே அந்த மாதிரி தானே மேடம் இருக்குது. அங்கே அவனுக்கு வேலை கிடைக்கலன்னாக்குள்ளார அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இன்புட் தானே உள்ளார வரான். அப்போ அந்த இன்புட் லெவலை மாற்றணும். அதாவது எக் அண்ட் சிக்கன் ஸ்டோரி தான், எது முன்னாடி வந்ததுன்றது தான். அந்த மாதிரி நீங்கள் நல்ல இன்புட் வந்தால் நல்ல பையன் நல்லா பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டு நல்ல மார்க் வாங்க போகிறான்.
அப்படியும் சொல்லிட முடியாதுல்ல சார். இப்போ வந்து ப்ராக்டிக்கல் ஸ்கில்லிங்னு ஒன்று இருக்குது. இங்கே வந்து இன்ஜினியரிங்கில் ஃபுல்லாக நிறைய ஸ்கில் ஓரியன்ட் இருக்குது. ஸோ அவர் வந்து அகடமிக் தான் வந்து அவருடைய ஸ்கூல் வரைக்குமே அகடமிக்ஸை மட்டுமே மெஷர் பண்ணாங்க. இன்ஜினியரிங்கில் வரும்போது அது மாறுது. ஸோ டெஃபினெட்லி அது வந்து ஃபுல்லாக எல்லாருக்கும் யூனிவர்சலாக அதை எக்ரி பண்ண முடியாது. பட் டெஃபினெட்லி we understand what you're getting at.
Can I make a final comment?
Yes.
Thank you. Same side goal. So, my son, to the previous question, I forgot who asked, but yes. My son, I convinced him of core engineering. He's finishing engineering physics in IIT Madras. It seems to be a very new, multidisciplinary field, which is very popular. Definitely core, but it has elements of computer science. I think to the second question, it answers that the intersection of computer science and some of the other core engineering disciplines is actually gaining a lot of traction. My daughter, on the other hand, I could not convince. She is in high school. She is in 11th standard. I'll tell you a very short story, very short. My father, who is no more now, was actually an alumnus of CEG. He even taught here. He is 1959 batch and he taught here for 1 year until 1960. So I have very fond memories of alumni events in CEG actually as a small boy. So when my father passed away, which was about 11 years back, my daughter was very small. She was about 4 years old. So after my father passed away, she didn't understand what actually happened for some time. About 6 months, 1 year it took to digest the fact that her grandfather is not at home. So one day, just like a child in all the innocence, she came and asked me, Appa, how do I speak to my grandfather? Tata kitta eppadi pesano? Enak pesano tata kitta. Eppadi pesalam appdi? This is a very innocent question. It's a very emotional, touching question. And I said, illa saami kitta poittaru pesa mudiyadhu appadina. And that's the only explanation you can give a child. But I took it as a challenge, right, in the spirit of innovation, because if you look at the word innovation, it tells you to solve problems that are seemingly unsolvable, right? So talking to a dead person is a seemingly unsolvable problem. So on a personal front, I actually started developing an AI tool. My mother is still alive, fortunately. I ask her to, whenever she finds time, to have a conversation with that tool. Not just typing, but even voice conversations. So I'm trying to mature that tool over the years. My hope is, after my mother's time, that tool will be able to respond to questions, that software tool will be able to respond to questions just like my mother would speak. Right? So, can you talk to a dead person? You cannot. But, same side goal. This is a pure AI project. There is no domain expertise involved. I just wanted to take it as a challenge. But, to me, if you go the pure AI route, I think there is a lot of innovation the human intelligence can bring in and come up with solutions like this, which were hitherto impossible. Right? I want this tool to talk back to my daughter or her son or daughter in the same voice, in the same way my mother would respond, in the same language, in the same expression. Right? So, thank you.
Engineer's mindset.
Correct.
Identify the problem and solve the
Exactly. AI was still a tool.
Ma'am, I have a small submission. I was very happy to know that TCS is recruiting 40 to 45% of core engineers in their employment. But what I observe is in most of the software companies, whether the person is having the background of core engineering or computer engineering, they are all given a common work, maybe a software developer, a computer engineer, like that. So what happens, the boy or girl who comes from the core engineering, he totally forget the core engineering. And when he has to compete, he or she has to compete with the CSC or IT person, she lags little behind. This message gives the core engineering students that when you have this one, AI or what you call CSC or IT, you can shine better than the core engineering person. Like that, it creates a image. So what I request is, the big IT companies, they can recruit some candidates from the industry who are having an experience of 3 to 4 years. If they recruit, these people will be motivated. Though, because there is another advantage also, the person having a 3 to 4 years experience in the core engineering will be a compliment for the IT sector. This is my small submission, if I am right.
Sir, I think we are recruiting from the industry also. We have been recruiting. It is not that we are not recruiting. TCS, even I have a request of hiring 200 MBBS doctors every year. I think it is, but we are not able to hire. That is a fact. So what I am saying is, we are also doing, we are the biggest campus hirers. At the same time, we are also hiring experienced persons from industry, not only IT, other core industries also we are hiring, because we have to
in that case it shall be disseminated, sir. In that case, this information has to be disseminated in a big way to the all education institutions so that they will be motivated.
Sir, off campus hiring as and when they hire adu vandute da irukku namakku notifications varudhu. Thank you. One last question please.
Thank you, madam. I said that education, entrepreneurship and employment, these three I's are very closely related. You are talking about core subject as well as artificial intelligence, computer science, etc. Unless otherwise you encourage employers, it is very difficult to get job for our engineering graduates. To encourage employers, my humble suggestion is government should come forward to give free license, transport facilities, energy facilities, marketing facilities. Automatically industries will grow. Based on that, whether core industries or non-core industries, graduates will get job. And simultaneously, the entrepreneurs, not only from India and from abroad, unless otherwise you improve the communication skill for the students who are undergoing engineering course, it is very difficult to get employment. This is my humble suggestion. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you. Well taken. Thank you very much. I think we will close this very, very insightful and engaging discussion. Yeah, we're running short of time. Yeah, okay. One last question. We have 2 more sessions after this. Please keep your question very short. Yes.
Good afternoon all. I am Dr. Lakshmanan from Park College of Engineering Technology, Coimbatore. Based on my experience with industry and students and academic, last 30 years, we are changing the name and we are giving different courses for the students. But actually, all are talking about core engineering, but we are not talking about what computer science students are doing. CSE or IT students, even cyber security or AI students, now they are learning present AI tools, they are giving whatever they are asking, whatever code we need, it is giving. But based on my experience with a lot of students, those who are working in top companies now, each and every candidate, presently they need core engineering. Even students, those who are doing computer science, they need the business. It means, suppose they want to work in healthcare, means they want to know about healthcare. They want to work in manufacturing industry, means they want to know about manufacturing. Without knowing that, what is the use of learning computer science?
I think we are digressing. This is application orientation. Education application oriented. Education engineering education.
Now, I am recusing government and higher education ministry. If suppose in core engineering adding mechanical engineering with computer science or computer science with
இல்ல
mechanical
அதுதான்
engineering.
சார், that was the outcome of the entire discussion. இப்போ நீங்கள் கவனிச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா ஃபுல் டிஸ்கஷனுமே அதை பற்றி தான், how you integrate emerging technology like AI tools into core engineering. That was the impact of this discussion. Thank you very much esteemed panelists for joining us. We really got a lot of insights from this, and to all the stakeholders, thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed moderating.
Thank you very much. We request the dignitaries to please be on the stage for the memento. We request Tirumati Divya ma'am to present a memento to our panel members. First to Thiru Kanniyappan, MD ZF Commercial Vehicle Control Systems, India Limited. Please give a big round of applause. Next to Dr. Susindran KM, Techno HR Leader, Head Academic Alliances at TCS. Next to Dr. P. Shivakumar, Distinguished Scientist, Former Director, CVRDE. Now to Thiru R.M. Kishore. Next to Thiru R.M. Kishore, Vice Chairman, RMK Group of Institutions. Next to Dr. K. Subramanian, Senior Vice President at Ashok Leyland. Finally, to Thiru Ramesh Prabha, Educationist and Career Guidance Specialist.
Kindly give a big round of applause, please.
Now I request the Director CUIC, Dr. K. Shanmugasundaram sir, to honor our very own session moderator, Tirumati J. Innocent Divya ma'am. I would request everyone to stand for a group picture, please. Thank you very much, dignitaries. We request everyone to be seated. We'll be having our keynote session now. Please remain seated. Dear audience, please remain seated. We'll be moving on to our keynote sessions. Please be seated. I request everyone to please come inside and remain seated. We'll be moving on to our keynote addresses. Please remain seated inside the auditorium.
It's not working out good. Spectacles is good, it's not sitting.
For the next slide, sir.
Can I get the slide off? இந்த செஷன் இருக்கு நான் காத்தால லலிதா சார் சொல்லிட்டு தான் வந்தேன் யா 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 பர்ஃபெக்ட் பர்ஃபெக்ட்
Dear audience, the keynote session will start in 5 minutes. I request everyone to be seated and inside the auditorium. We now have the privilege of hearing from a distinguished industry leader who has made significant contributions to the field of engineering, education, and innovation. He holds a PhD in material science from IISc and a management degree award from IIM Bangalore. He won IISc's Best Thesis Award, GE's Edison Inventor Medal, recognized as one of the top 50 EGMP graduates from IIM Bangalore, and a Prolific Inventor Award from the World Intellectual Property Forum. We will have a keynote address on transforming engineering education core shell model. Let us warmly welcome the Vice President of Mahindra and Mahindra, Dr. Shankar Venugopal sir.
மஹிந்திரா அண்ட் மஹிந்திரா நிறுவனத்தின் துணைத் தலைவர் டாக்டர் சங்கர் வேணுகோபால் அவர்களை குறிப்புரையாற்ற அன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Friends, I think we had a very good, very insightful panel discussion that very extensively covered a lot of concerns that you might have had in your mind when you walked in here this morning, really looking at how to maintain the importance of core engineering with all the changes that's happening around us. I think we had both the industry, academic and experts from the government sharing views that are very similar in nature to say that core engineering continues to be most important. There is nothing that has really changed out there. In fact, it has become even more important than what it was in the past. A couple of observations that I had. I tend to make notes, and this panel discussion was really good, so I had some notes here. Before I go in there, I just have a quiz for you. The 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics was announced a couple of days back. So do you know what was that given for? This year's Nobel Prize in Physics. Any guess? AI and machine learning. But the prize is in physics, right? So if you are teaching physics for our core engineers, which we all do, there is no debate about it, AI and ML also needs to be taught to our core engineers. It's rather easy to teach coding to a core engineer than to teach core engineering to a coding engineer. So it's always, the difference is just a single letter between core and code. Things are as easy as that. When we heard experts like Dr. Subramaniam speak about the clutch predictive model example, it became very clear that you can use AI and machine learning effectively only if you have a sound knowledge of your core domain. Otherwise, it's very superficial. There is hardly any practical value that you can create out of it. Also, if you look at the kind of new jobs that's going to get created in this space, a lot of it will be more of application. Applying AI and ML to solve a very wide variety of problems for which, unless you have the core domain knowledge, you're not able to going to solve that problem. So all this actually makes the situation even better for core engineering because there is now a lot more added attraction. But we have been talking about mostly problems and how to solve them. But today, now in this next 10 minutes, I want to slowly nudge you towards the solution part. Where should we really make a beginning? If we want to really solve it in a reasonable time frame, where do we start and how do we go about? And I don't have a complete solution. I don't even have a partial solution, to be honest. But I have few thoughts which I want to lay before you today, which you can continue to think about as you travel back to your respective places. And I'm sure, as a group, we'll be able to synthesize these thoughts together and come up with a very comprehensive way through which we can make core very relevant going into the future. Not just for today and tomorrow, but into the long future. So with this, let's get into what I have put together. Yeah. So there are two parts which I will cover in the next few minutes. The first part is about what is really changing, and the second part is how we are going to respond to this change. The last is to just wrap up with a kind of a roadmap which will take us from where we are here today to where we need to be. So before I start speaking, I should also say, how am I qualified to speak about this? Because I'm from the industry, you're all leaders from academia. So you may be wondering, where is this guy coming from the industry? How is he qualified to really talk about it? So I have two things in my favor. One is, a few months back, I launched an initiative called FLAME, which is Future Leaders in Automotive and Manufacturing Engineering, which is all about looking at what are the future skills and how to build those skills in a short time, not only for students, but also for faculty. So I'm running this pilot for the last 3 months now, and over the next 12 months, we are going to learn a lot through this initiative, and that's something I'm going to share with this whole community out here. It's called FLAME, Future Leaders in Automotive and Manufacturing Engineering. And I myself from the automotive space, so that's where I have some ideas and insights that I can share. The second is a book that I wrote about a year back. This is called Vagana Poriyalar 2030. It's not too far into the future, just 2030. Mobility engineer by the year 2030, what he or she should know and how one can build those skills. This is in Tamil and it's in a story form. This talks about a person by name Bharat who becomes a CTO of a company who has to build the very first electric vehicle for his company and how he goes about acquiring those skills and training others and together how they go about building this. So this is in a story format, so it's very easy to read. So through these two initiatives, the experience of writing a book and also this FLAME initiative, I got to talk to a lot of experts, and this also helped me to crystallize my own thoughts. And that has gone into making these charts that you see today. So what has changed today? 3 things have changed. The kind of technology play, the technologies with which we are building solutions in the industry has fundamentally changed. Some of these technologies I'm sure you will recognize and you would be using it already in some form or the other, but can you really bucket them into any one branch to say whether it's mechanical or electrical or civil or chemical or electronics? These truly cut across all the engineering domains. All we can say is these technologies are growing very fast, exponentially. Some of them are doubling every 18 months, some of them are doubling every 12 months, and a few of them are even doubling every 6 months. So whichever branch you specialize in, when you are building a product for the market, you are going to use many of these technologies. So any engineer, irrespective of what branch he or she is from, need to know a bit of each one of these technologies that you see here, and there is no exception. These departments like mechanical, civil, electrical exist in college, not in the industry. In industry, any product is built by a cross-functional team. Everybody needs to know a bit of everything. That's the way it works. Since I am from the automotive industry, I'll just say 2 quick things about what has changed in the industry. So what was IC engine powered vehicle today is an electric vehicle powered by a motor and a battery. But that's not the complete story. It's also a connected vehicle. It's also an autonomous vehicle, at least semi-autonomous as of today. And it is also a shared vehicle. All of this means a whole bunch of new technologies which we wouldn't have seen in our car, say 5 years back. Everything that's in the vehicle that we are building today is absolutely new. This is only the first wave. You thought this is a big disruption, a lot of things have changed. This is only the first wave. Second wave, The first wave further expanded with all the internet connectivity. Just like we all see the benefits of internet, the vehicles are also seeing vehicle-to-vehicle connectivity. Everything you can imagine is happening. It's like a science fiction or a James Bond movie that's made affordable and accessible to all of us right here. But the second wave is a much bigger one. That's one area where I want to spend a minute with you, is a shift from hardware to software. Going forward, there is going to be more and more software play in the vehicles. Just like we graduated from normal phones to smartphones, the vehicles are also becoming smart. We heard about machine intelligence and learning and whatnot during the panel discussion, and all this is coming into the vehicle that you will be using. Not very far away, maybe a year or two from now, you'll have vehicles which are rich in all these features, where you'll be, just like you are comparing your phone based on the apps that you have, the vehicles also will go a very similar transition. And this is a much bigger transition, something that we have to really recognize well ahead and start preparing our students for. So what this means is, there are going to be lots and lots of new jobs in a variety of industry. Though I am talking about the automotive industry, an expert from a different industry will share a very similar insight that there are going to be lots and lots of new jobs. But the question is, are we building the skills that we need for these new jobs? If we are able to recognize that and build those skills, then all these new jobs are very much reachable to all of us. So, how do we recognize those skills is the next logical question to ask. This brings us to a very extensive study. This is not specific to India. This is a global study, which brings out that the automotive industry, 2025 to 2030, the way it is evolving, needs an engineer who is not an IT engineer, who is not a mechanical engineer, who is not an electrical engineer, whatever you know of, no. What the automotive industry needs is what we call as a mobility engineer. That's why I title my book as Mobility Engineer 2030. So who is this mobility engineer? How is he different from a mechanical or electrical or IT or a computer science? Who is he? That's what you see here. There are three layers. There's a foundation layer, which is the core, mechanical, electrical, electronics, and computer science. We want the mobility engineer to be equally conversant in all these three branches. That's number one. If you thought that is difficult to achieve in a 4-year curriculum, look at the next layer, which is what makes him or her useful to the industry. That's basically an integration layer where the student should also be familiar with putting all this technology in a product and ensuring quality performance of this product, a systems level understanding and approach to problem solving, excellent communication skills, and a strong orientation towards what the customer really wants. His engineering, his idea, everything is end of the day towards empowering the customer. How is he able to translate that? This is a very important skill that we as educators should give our students, then they'll be able to land in the jobs of their choice. The top layer, which is having an innovative mindset, having the right ethics and risk management, and also learnability. So many new things are going to come one after another in the next few years. How quickly they can learn these new things? Are we teaching them in our classroom how to learn? How to learn anything new? Are we teaching them that skill? Because if you teach that one skill, they can learn anything and manage anywhere. How are you doing that? So, this is a very extensive 3-year study that was done across the globe. Lots of interviews with experts from industry, academia, and government. And all this has been synthesized and consolidated into this one chart that you see here. For those of you who want to understand more about it, I'll share a very detailed article behind this. But for today's discussion, automotive industry needs somebody like this. I'm sure there could be similar requirements for the other industries too. So it's fairly complex to make sure that we are giving all these skills to our students in the 4 years that they spend with us. So now, let's look at how we can do that. Sure. Okay, that is all functional skills. Then equally important, because typically we tend to focus on the functional skills, but equally important is the cognitive skills, intrapersonal and interpersonal. If you come to the Mahindra Research Valley, you'll realize more than the technical knowledge that a person brings, these three skills play a huge role in making him or her successful and satisfied in their career. So we have to figure out ways in which we can give them those experiences and exposure to build these three skills along with the engineering knowledge. So now I'm going to give you a strategy. I'm also going to give you a model how you can really start and go about transforming the kind of education space that you are in. Let's look at it as three boxes. The first box is what we need to learn and start new. Second box is what we can borrow and continue doing just like we are doing in the past. And the third is, very important, what we need to really forget and move on. We just cannot afford to do it any further. We have to just stop doing that. So if you are clear about these three boxes, then we have a strategy set in place to transform engineering education in a reasonable amount of time. You can do a brainstorming with your faculties and figure out what to start, what to continue, and what to stop. But here are my 2 cents. Definitely, whatever be the core, we need to start learning and teaching AI, ML, data science and analytics, new materials and manufacturing that is getting into the automotive space, especially with electric vehicles, innovation and design thinking, which cuts across whatever be the domain, whatever the kind of problems you get to work on. Something that you can borrow and take forward is, if you are a faculty in mechanical engineering and you want to offer a bridge course to your student, what we call as electrical engineering for mechanical engineers or electronics engineering for mechanical engineers. How do you do that? You basically collaborate with another faculty from electrical or electronics department and co-create a course. But these bridge courses are very important. The content exists, the knowledge exists, but the course doesn't exist. But if you are able to create those courses, then that's going to make the transition for your students a lot more easier. So a whole bunch of bridge courses and focus on traditional and new methods of problem solving. This is basically going back to basics, GD&T and hardcore things which will never lose their relevance, which is what we need to continue. Last, which is forget and just stop, is core IC topics and combustion and whatnot. If the new vehicle is going to run on battery and motors, then basically this engineer has to know how the technology is evolved, but need not spend so many semesters going in great depth to these areas. So also the traditional manufacturing methods are changing absolutely. So the traditional materials, traditional manufacturing can all be condensed to just give them a feel for the evolution of technology, but focus more on the new technologies that are evolving. So this 3 boxes is not the same. I cannot recommend what should be going into these 3 boxes, but it's just a framework for you to brainstorm with your own faculty members and arrive at what are those meaningful things that you need to put in these 3 boxes. But if you're done with this, the next step is what you need to create as a completely new offering. I gave a new word, mobility engineer, who is not a mechanical or electrical or chemical or civil engineer. Similar way, any of the courses that we need to offer will have the core engineering as the smallest circle that you see out there. It could be mechanical, electrical, civil, chemical, anything that you are specialized in. That remains the core. There is absolutely no change. There is no debate on that part. But the next layer is basically the bridge courses that I'm talking about. Because even if you are a mechanical engineer, you need to have a working knowledge of electrical, electronics, and if it's EV, you need to know the battery, so you need to understand the chemistry and chemical engineering of it, a whole bunch of things. That's the next layer. The third layer is what we talked so much about during the panel discussion, which is the AI, ML, data science, and analytics. But look at this here. It's not coming in the beginning. It's coming as a third layer. So by then your student have sufficient domain knowledge to really apply this third layer and get better insights. And the last And the most important layer is the outermost layer, which is the design thinking and innovation. Because without knowing that, this knowledge will remain as a conceptual knowledge in their minds. They will never be able to apply this and solve practical problems in the real world out there. So what we are talking about is a core shell model where whatever you have been teaching so far is at the core, right at the heart of everything. That's absolutely nothing is going to change, but that's only the first step. We are going to take 3 more steps. One is this building the breadth by looking at adjacent engineering domains. The third is bringing AI and data science into the space. And the fourth is a dedicated training on design thinking and problem solving. When you do all these 4, your students are absolutely ready for the industry, not only for tomorrow, but also for the years ahead. This is going to be super important for all our students. And this is not just India, across the globe. So the market for what you are doing here is truly global. If you are able to create this successfully here, you will be able to sell this product across the globe. That's a true opportunity here. So now we have talked about what has changed and how we need to respond to this change. Finally, how is it going to really happen? Your problem still goes back to say, I have 4 years, I have only 24 hours in a day. How am I going to get all these things done? Is it really possible? The traditional model, there's a very nice Sanskrit sloka that you see there. For those of you who know Sanskrit, that's a top layer. The 4 ways in which you can learn. One is from a teacher. The second is by your own intelligence. You contemplate and try to develop your own understanding. The third is by discussing with others, the peer-to-peer interactions and the knowledge. And the fourth is with time. You need to work on a wide variety of problems for a very long time to get those insights. So that's a traditional model which will definitely take time, because time is one of the 4 sources of learning. You cannot cut short that. But now look at the new 4 things that we have put on the bottom. The first layer is all the industry, internship, apprenticeship that they can do for 2 months every year. In 4 years, they get 8 months to come to the industry and get to see what's happening out there. Second is all the MOOCs. These courses are free, so you can try any different course, so many things. If you like it, you continue. If you don't like it, you drop. There is nothing to lose. So this gives them a chance to try so many different topics and figure out what they really like and what they don't like. The third is hackathons. Hackathons are the accelerated way of learning something new. Not just learning, but actually using it to build something and do a lot of course corrections to make it work in the best possible way and win the first prize out there. So those of your students who are actually actively participating in hackathons, it's not just about winning, just participating in that, they are the best fits for the industry because they are so hands-on, they are able to apply everything they know and build something in as short as 24 hours. That's a skill that the industry really needs. The last one, can you guess what it is? Anybody who can guess what is that last picture, the right extreme? What that could be? Mentors. Having a mentor. The mentor could be anybody. The mentor is already up there where you want to go and you are still climbing and the mentor is giving you a helping hand and taking you there where he's already there. Figuring out who your mentor is and making sure you tell your mentor where you want to be, how fast you want to reach there, and making sure you are able to learn from their experience rather than you trying to do it from scratch. All these things are going to really accelerate the entire transition. So with this, let us come to this last message that I want to leave you with. It takes time, definitely, but since the technologies are growing so fast, we don't have a lot of time. Whatever we are going to do, we have to do it real fast. So I have set 2030 as a reasonable target for this roadmap. So what you see is 2025 to 2030. We will start with aligning our content to the needs of the industry. That's a very first phase we will work on. Second phase is bringing more and more AI to customize the content, the way we teach to every single student out there. be it their language, be it the pace at which they learn, whether they want to learn by hearing lectures or doing things in the labs. AI allows you to customize the way you teach. So that is the second phase in which we want to transform education. The third and the final piece is these students who complete the course and leave your college after 4 years, they are going to come back to you after maybe another 1 or 2 years because they have to learn something new. There is going to be a continuous engagement with you, between you and your students, because technology is changing so fast. They need to keep on coming back to the alma mater and learn new things. And where else they will go rather than come to you? So, this is not going to be just a 4-year affair. This is going to be a lifelong affair. You need to really think long term how you can engage with your students all through their career and give them the right things at the right time so that they continue to grow and continue to keep coming back to you. So this is a roadmap that I will really work on if I want to bring this transformation in a very short time. And let me reiterate once more, if you do this right here in India, you'll be able to take it to any other part of the globe because the requirements are the same, the changes are the same, the demand is the same. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking and forward-looking insights on transforming the way we approach engineering education. Sir, I request you to stay back, please. I request the Registrar, Dr. J. Prakash, sir, to present a memento to Dr. Shankar Venugopal, sir. Please give a big round of applause. Sir. Now it's my absolute honor to introduce our second keynote speaker for the session. He is the Managing Director for Wheels India Limited, amongst the world's largest manufacturers of steel, aluminum and wire wheels. He leveraged his MBA from the Weatherhead School of Management at Case Western Reserve University. With expertise in training, marketing, sales and strategic planning, he has a strong track record in driving business growth and innovation. Committed to excellence, he leads initiatives that enhance organizational performance and foster team development. Today he will be speaking on the topic, Why Core Engineering, an essential subject that resonates deeply with the goals of our program. We are glad to welcome the Chairman of CII, Tamil Nadu State Council, and the Managing Director of Wheels India Limited, Mr. Srivatsram, to the stage.
CII Tamil Nadu மாநில தலைவரும் Wheels India Limitedin நிர்வாக இயக்குனருமாகிய திரு ஸ்ரீவத்ஸ்ராம் அவர்களை குறிப்புரையாற்ற பணிவுடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Please give a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, ellarkum. I guess Madhya Vanakam, because it's not Kale or Male. But I wanted to, I want to take off a little bit on what Shankar, my good friend Shankar just presented, which is lifelong learning. For the last 20 years, I've been talking to our employees' children who win scholarships. So once a year, I get to meet them, and I remember it started off very, it was only school education, whereas nowadays, invariably, there are 5 or 6 people who don't come because they're studying in some university in Europe or US or something like that. And the basic thing that I tell them is, their education has just started. They've finished a degree, they've joined a university, but the education has just started. And this is actually the fundamental part which has changed, thanks to the pace of development of technology, is the need for us to continuously learn. because being relevant is actually what is most important for everybody. It is most important for companies, it's important for the employees, and it's equally most important for the educational institutions. And I can understand my father is actually a distinguished alumni from this very campus. I can understand the challenge that professors have, because you focused in one area, you built your expertise in one area, but now we are confronted with a multitude of different technologies which kind of cross-section the core area which you've actually built your expertise. And the acceleration of that through these various things. If you put it very, very briefly, what has changed? Why are we having this discussion on core engineering? It is really due to the fact that now the data processing speeds and the connectivity we have with actual, live machines or live cars, the pace at which that happens is significantly faster. So the pace actually has changed, and that is why we are actually having this whole discussion about core engineering. Recently I was in Germany, I rented a car. I didn't even ask what car it was, I just took whatever came. Then I saw that it had certain features. So just for example, I was going down, not the Autobahn, but going down a state highway. I took my foot off the accelerator. The car read the speed limit and drove just 1 kilometer under the speed limit. The speed limit changes, it slows. There's a car in front, it brakes. All I'm doing is holding the steering. I was almost tempted to look at my mobile phone and read messages because so much was removed. And this is not a high-tech car. This is a Volkswagen, a very, very basic vehicle which is there. This technology is already there. If you look at, TCS is here, and if you look at the number of lines of code, a modern automobile has 100 million lines of code, which is more than what you have on a plane. Of course, significant amount of it comes from ADAS and things like that. But the basic thing is that the technology has already arrived. Now, does the car, in its fundamental nature, this is actually an ICE engine car and not an electric vehicle. Has the fundamental, mechanics of a car changed? Not really. Nothing has really changed. And this is the point that I'm trying to use to tell you why core engineering is important. The fundamental nature of the car has not changed, but the way in which data is processed and decisions are taken based on the data which is being processed, and decisions are taken autonomously. This is what has changed. And that creates a different experience for the consumer. That changes what we can do with these tools. A car is a tool. These tools that we've had. It changes things dramatically. Autonomous vehicles are not new, and neither are electric vehicles. I was in Coimbatore on Saturday at the G.D. Nadu Museum, and they told me, sir, in the Vandi Votipare, so I drove a steam vehicle from 1883. There were even electric vehicles there. Of course, lead-acid-based electric vehicles, but electric vehicles were there back at the turn of the century. I believe there's even an electric tractor which was there around the same time. But the technology has actually developed, which means that the kind of convenience that we've had with an ICE engine vehicle, and I'm sorry, I'm following Shankar, and I'm also unfortunately from the automotive field. The basic comforts and conveniences that we have with a modern, ICE engine vehicle, we look at duplicating those with something which is electric, really looking at reducing the carbon footprint. So the two main things that have changed really is digital technologies, which is a world, actually it's a universe. It includes everything from AI to machine learning. And the second thing that has changed is this look at sustainability, which is driving movements such as electric vehicles, renewable energy, battery-related technologies. Shankar comes from a large automotive company which has a turnover which has more zeros than I think I can remember. But I have a meeting actually at 3 o'clock with a startup. And I'm actually, my job in that is mentoring him on the product development cycle. That's essentially what we're doing. And he has to deal with, in his product, he has to deal with machine learning, he has to deal with artificial intelligence, he has to deal with autonomous, and it's not an automotive product. I'm just telling you. He has to deal with data analytics, he has to deal with battery. The turnover of the company is, what is it? 2.3 crores. They have 20 employees. It's a startup. He's also not from any fancy university or anything. He's a Trichy fellow, actually meeting la Tamil la da pesha. But the basic thing is, there are a lot of these type of the dispersion of different technologies which somebody has to deal with in developing something fairly basic has changed. And I think I wrote an article about a couple of years back, really about government departments, about the fact that we have industries department, you have the electronic ministry, you have the IT ministry, and the fact that it is getting more and more redundant having these compartments because the nature of work that is required right now requires all of these to kind of come together. Reason why core engineering is a subject here is because of the pace of change of processing, connectivity and digital technologies, which is suddenly increasing the number of people that you need in these. It's not that you don't need core engineers anymore, but the proportion, the number of new students that you need in these fields are increasing because those fields were, the exposure to certain industries to those fields was very negligible. And this is actually a big advantage that India has, because whether we like it or not, and I do remember, maybe about 10 years back or 12 years back, we used to say Tamil Nadu's got too many engineering colleges. What are we doing with all these engineering colleges? But the fact of the matter is we actually have a huge demographic dividend because Europe doesn't have engineers. I had gone to Hanover for an automotive show and I was sitting with my customer and he didn't talk about anything else other than blaming their stupid Schengen visa system and the fact that they're not able to get enough Indian engineers to come and work for them, which is leading to actually these global capability centers which are coming up. And to pick an automotive example, and Shankar, not your company, but BMW, for example, is tied up with KPIT and they have, I think, 2,500 software engineers who are developing it. So India has this strength. And that is what, engineering colleges need to look at. You now are in this world where technologies are changing and the borders between different disciplines are going away very fast. You're talking about, digital technologies, semiconductors, material sciences. I remember, I think IIT Madras few years back, maybe about 6-7 years back, there was a discussion, should the metallurgy department close? You need material scientists. It is probably more important to have that than even to have an IT department at the current moment. And our ability to actually bring up these people, if you look at the semiconductor industry, the challenges that are there, India has a lot of students, but do we have people who are actually skilled enough to work in this industry is a big question. So for universities, aligning your curriculum to what are the new emerging areas, because unfortunately students look at degrees as currency. Nowadays when a student goes to get an engineering degree, he gets an engineering degree saying that after 5 years I'll have this car, I will have an apartment. He has in his mind he needs to have this 5 years kulla idella veno. So adukku inda shamblam veno, adukku inda degree vaanga and shamblam vaangano. That kind of equation is there in people's heads, whether you think it is justified or not. But the challenge now is because the industry's requirements are changing rapidly, your ability to give us people that we can plug and play is really not there. I don't know what Mahindra, I'm sure TCS does a much better job than us automotive guys. But in my company, if I take an engineer, it takes 1.5 years before he adds value. It takes 1.5 years before he adds value. And the guy, like after 3 years, is immediately now thinking about his next job. Or worst case, if we actually do a decent job mentoring them and training them, 5 years. So the challenge actually for engineering colleges is to actually build this. The challenge for companies, it's not as if industry does not have challenges. Our challenge is to be able to build the capacity to hold knowledge in our organizations with people coming in and going out and moving around, which I think the IT industry has done reasonably well. But for automotive industry, sometimes you need somebody to work on something for 10 years before you actually build something which is world class. And so to be able to retain people in a world, you need to get into something deep if you want to add value. This is a basic point. Peripheral learning or peripheral knowledge doesn't actually add anything of significant value. If you want to actually build something which is world class, there needs to be a certain amount of depth for which students need to spend time, employees need to spend time. We're not able to get people who we can say, okay, I hire this guy, he's very good. Now, na kulupati vecha kuda 3 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்புறம் விட்டு போவான். This is a challenge. I have people who we've done everything that we could do for them. They're very grateful to the organization. Even after moving on, they talk well about the organization, but they leave. So for industries, we have to also learn how we adapt to it. So the pace of economy right now is such that the engineering colleges need to change. You also need to make sure that you can teach the relevant subjects. A lot of these subjects are evolving. Okay, AI has been around, honestly, the scientific community has been using AI for a number of years. But let's say generative AI, for example, is relatively new. And when the student comes in, unfortunately, unlike in my generation when there was no internet or actually even mobile phone for that matter, in the current generation, they've read everything that is there on Google or whatever. So they search on the net, they pick up stuff, they come to college, they expect their professors to know it. And this is the challenge. So how do we actually also find a way of teaching the faculty? How can the faculty remain relevant to the student? Because your job is actually not necessarily to teach the student the subject which is there. Your job is actually to motivate the student so that he learns how to learn and he gets a certain amount of adrenaline from the experience which makes him want to continue to be a creative person as he moves into society. So I think there is a need for education for faculty as well. There is a need for, I think this is, IIT Madras is doing a little bit of it, and forgive me, I'm sure a lot of other universities are, but I'm not that familiar, where you bring people from different disciplines on a particular subject, which is what actually happens in industry. You have a mechanical guy, you have an electronics guy, you have a data science guy, all these guys work on the same project. So IIT in some of the projects tries to bring together multiple disciplines to work together. They're working even with hospitals, for example, on data science. I happen to be on the Cancer Institute Governing Council, so we're trying to see whether we can work with the IITs to dredge, whatever 4 decades of data and find patterns within that, which will also be extremely useful for researchers. So there is a need for all of us to change because of the pace of technology and the expectations of youth. This is the other unusual part which is unique to India. We have an average age of 29. So the country is driven not by us, not by you. It's driven by guys who are 29 and under. Those are the people who are actually determining what is required. It's not by authority. Ultimately, we need to find ways in which we can sell to these people. We need to find ways in which we can engage with these people. You need to find ways in which you can actually educate these people. They are the customer. If you look at it in a traditional, business angle, who is your end customer? Your end customer is this guy who's 29 years old, who has maybe a smitten of knowledge about all these evolving technologies. He is a person who's going to be in industry. He is a person who's going to be a student. It's the same population. And the expectations that they have and the pace at which those expectations change is what drives us as industry, as organizations. And I think even in the field of academia, it's important for us it is not important that everybody knows everything, but you need to have at least a basic understanding of different sciences. Even if you are just a mechanical engineering professor, some basic understanding of the different sciences. What Shankar spoke about, the fundamental area could be mechanical engineering, but you need to have probably some amount of electrical engineering knowledge, some amount of data processing or analytical capabilities to do most things nowadays. Even in manufacturing, you need that. Manufacturing is actually going through a little bit of a revolution, basically because of fundamentally the same things. Your ability to capture data, your ability to process data, your ability to do the analytics, and sometimes your ability to give the solution and correct. You can auto-correct in the machine itself. And that leads to higher efficiencies that you get in a manufacturing cell or a manufacturing line. So in this world, I think while fundamentals of engineering remain, there is no such thing as knowledge does not have boundaries which are determined by departments or ministries or by any form of authority. They tend to cross. And we need to find a way in which we can capture this intersection of knowledge so that we can actually educate students who are coming in, who can be absorbed by industry, and find a way of moving forward. We have a great opportunity as a country. India is the fastest growing country. We will, even if we do not reach our Prime Minister's goal of being Vikasit Bharat by 2047, Tamil Nadu will probably reach there, hopefully reach there. If India has that goal, Tamil Nadu will probably reach it before that. And so there is going to be this tremendous amount of economic opportunity which is there. And our jobs as educators and as industries is to find a way in which we can take our youth, which is the biggest strength that India has, and pull them through the education system and find a way in which we can quicker deploy them in industry. And if we do that, I think we will move closer to our goal of being a developed economy. And I'm sure that most people in this room, at least those who are closer to my age group, will remember that when we were in school, we were taught that we're a third world country. So we've gone a long way from going from there to where we are headed right now. But it requires us to learn fast and adapt. Adapting is actually what we need to do in academia, what we need to do in industry. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you. It's been great listening to the panel and to Shankar. I hope I've added some thoughts in your head. Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was great listening to your insightful keynote and your thoughts on core engineering's impact on innovation and industry. With your experiences were truly inspiring. Please give him another round of applause. Now, I request our registrar, Dr. J. Prakash sir, to present a memento to Mr. Srivats Ram sir. you, sir. As we come to the conclusion of today's event, it is my pleasure to invite a dignitary who has been instrumental in driving university-industrial collaborations and fostering an environment of growth and innovation. We welcome the Director of CUIC, Anna University, Dr. K. Shanmugasundaram, sir, for the closing address.
இந்நிகழ்ச்சியின் முடிவாக CUIC அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டி இயக்குனர் டாக்டர் கே சண்முகசுந்தரம் அவர்களை முடிவுரையாற்ற பணிவன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
Thank you for the small introduction. I'm not going to take much of your time. It's already too late for the lunch, but at the same time, it's a tradition that I have to thank everyone who have been behind this entire show. So at the outset, it has been very heartening to note as an academician that the government had taken up the initiative. It is the direction of the government where we were asked to have this kind of sensitization program. When that was directed, I should thank the previous Additional Chief Secretary, Pradeep Yadav, for having thought about it, gave the direction through the Commissioner, Dr. Mr. Abraham, and the present Additional Chief Secretary, with their full support. Through our registrar, we were able to conceive, and this, I would say, would not have been possible unless otherwise the panel of experts whom we just contacted over phone, maybe on a WhatsApp, immediately accepted to our invitation. And not that, there are people, probably the chairman CII, you would know how much his time is worth, has taken up a voluntary request that he wanted to come and address this important function. So that's where I'm very much honored to propose the vote of thanks from the deep of my heart to the session moderator, Madam Innocent Divya, who has been an extemporary bureaucrat with a vision, with a heart to serve to the students. And she always had the feeling that she has to be part of this entire event. And that's why, whether she was only on the panel or on the inaugural, she was able to stay. But they are pressed for time, so I take pleasure in thanking the bureaucrats, Pradeep Yadav sir, Gopal sir, Abraham, and Madam Innocent Divya at the first side. Secondly, I take pleasure in thanking all the panelists, Thiru Kanyappan sir, Dr. Susindran, Dr. Shivakumar, Dr. Subramaniam, Mr. R.M. Kishore, and Ramesh Prabha sir for gracing this occasion and sharing your insights. And it would not been possible because we have been listening to Shankar Venugopal for a very, very long time. And every time we listen to him, we get so much of insights. And that's where as a university, we feel honored because as a university, we do have equal responsibility of delivering the right content to the students. And when we develop the curriculum, we have to understand the needs of the industry and the thoughts that the people from the industry, be it the CIA chairman or Shankar Venugopal or from the TCS or anybody for that matter, we are actually documenting the entire event, and it has been also streamed online. So I take pleasure in thanking each and every one of the panelists, and special thanks to the keynotes, both by the great experts in the industry, whom we are associating for a long time, Dr. Shankar Venugopal, and Mr. Srivat Ram is just a beginning. I'm sure we are going to have a lot more sessions that we are looking forward, because the need of the industry and academia as well as the future is always a missing gap. And that's where we are sure the MOU that has been already signed with CII is going to take us forward in coming out with syllabus, because when we hear that there is a mismatch in the syllabus or updation of the syllabus is required, and one good thing that lifelong lesson, and rightly pointed out, we can't just go to the classroom with the limited knowledge what we learned 30 years back or what we did on the research. So it has to be continuous, and that's what we are sure maybe all the academicians here are taking it as a takeaway, and also a mutual consensus agreement that we are going to have core engineering extremely relevant in whatever years to come. And this entire function has been brought together by the entire team of CUIC, where I have beautiful deputy directors. Maybe I request Dr. Shibu, Dr. Saravanan, Dr. Yes, Dr. Dhanashekaran, Dr. Chitra, Dr. Praveen. They were the force behind in making this event, and we are very happy to conclude this event has been completely stage managed by the volunteers from the second years and third years. So they are going to be the future pillars, and we are making them managers by the time they are going to complete. So I request Shirish, Harish Kant, Naveen Balaji, Geesha, Vijay, Deena, Ramkumar, Raish, Kavya, Madhumita, Krishna Sri and Sweta to join onto the stage. So a big thank you to all the participants for taking your time being here, because we know your time is extremely precious. You have taken your time off traveling from different parts of Tamil Nadu. So I'm sure you have big takeaways. Thank you from the bottom of heart from CUIC, from our registrar on behalf of the university, and to